Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
What's your favorite hero in Dota 2? And it doesn't have to be the ones that you play. It can be any like design.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it should be Chen, regardless if I hate it or not. It's if I hate Chen, then it's like some inner like coping mechanism in order to not do it that much.
All right. Can you draw it?
Can I draw it? Probably.
If I give you a minute and 30 seconds to draw, and 4 markers and a piece of paper.
I'm not really good at drawing, but I'll try my best.
All right. Awesome. 3, 2, 1, draw.
Looks like a rat at this point. At least it does rat, so,
Yeah. Is it one of the more difficult heroes to draw?
No, the thing is, it got like a lot of mounts. Like I don't even know what it is at this point.
Well, I'm pleased to announce that we're halfway through the drawing.
That's great.
Who do you think the easiest hero to draw is?
I don't know. Wait, I have to finish this. What is it? Hat also, man. It was like fucking. Yeah, I mean, what you gotta do? This is the best you can get.
You got 10 seconds left. Put in any color that you want.
Not really sure if I can do anything better here. Not really sure.
That's perfect. You hit 1 minute 30 basically when you said.
Not really sure if I can do anything better. What was the count? This one?
Easy. I think it's beautiful, actually.
Well, it's what they started when they was creating Chen. They started with this sketch. Pretty sure it looked like this in the beginning.
This tournament we prepared by just boot camping a little bit here and there. We played a lot of scrims, and pretty much the DPC is kind of like a preparation for this as well.
I think the dark horse of this tournament is probably the boosters. If I have to be honest, probably the boosters. Don't think any of the players have yet to prove themselves yet, of anything yet. So that means they're the dark horses, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's been great. We're here only for 1 day, but now I'm feeling comfortable and I have a really good expectations from this tournament?
I am actually not really sure who will cause the biggest trouble. I always felt that Tundra as a team is very troublesome to play against because they rarely lose lanes and they just kind of they play their own aggressive style. And sometimes it's very hard to come back against them. Most of the time. You have to already have a lead against them in order to win them.
I'm very excited about playing against the Chinese teams. I don't know if they'll be the ones that cause us the most trouble, but they're probably the most exciting teams to play because we have no information on them. They've been in their own little bubble training against each other, so very much looking forward to playing against the Chinese teams.
Well, we got to see a couple of the players' opinions. What do you guys think of that Chen drawing out of 10?
I mean,
10?
10, yep.
Yeah, 10, of course.
Okay,
10.
yep. Thank you so much. I also have the Anteater mount.
I don't know, maybe I would rate it the TI he won out of 10.
Oh. Wow.
I mean, if it was not Puppy, I probably would have dared, rating it differently. But since it's Puppy, I think it's a 10.
I think that's fair. Right?
It's okay, Puppy. He said 10. You can. No. We're cool.
Take it easy.
We're cool.
It's a 10. It's a 10 out of 10, of course. Yeah. Out of 10.
I really did enjoy as well when they asked him his favorite hero. He went, "It should be Chen. Like it's meant to be.
Yes.
People expect this from me. Not necessarily I like it, but it should be Chen."
Giving the people what they want. Very kind.
What's your least favorite Puppy hero?
My least favorite Puppy hero. That's a very good question, actually. Yeah. I don't even know. I think I like all the Puppy. I like all the Puppy heroes.
Oh.
Like the one I can tell you the one I missed the most. Like he used to play Lycan jungle back then so much, and Enigma jungle, and that's how I started fanboying over Puppy. So obviously, not as potent these days, but these were my favorites.
Like in jungle.
Yeah.
Those are some times.
Back in the Wolves Need No Armor days, there's some great YouTube videos about that. Just trying to go 0-0 and 0 and just a pure objective gaming. Necro Book 3, remember that?
Yes.
Oh man.
People try to make the jungle thing work for so long. Remember when even later Earn Town got taken away and someone's like, "I swear, Veno jungle, this works.
Yeah.
It is a good strategy, guys." And it didn't really.
No,
Tried it one time.
I mean, I think the only guys that have been doing it in the past couple of years has been like Snake King, right? He did like the Veno jungle a couple of times, and even that was like last year.
Yeah. He tried to make it work. I mean, there's just been so many changes where it's probably hard to pull it off these days. Like when it comes, and I mean, laning presence has become so important. It was not as important before. So the changes to denies, and then now you kind of have to fight for every wave, and if you don't, you might just fall behind. So we're not gonna see as much. You do see Puppy sometimes. He comes, he plays Chen, secures a couple waves, then he's like, slowly kind of rotating to the left, to the right. You know where he really truly belongs, right, and he also knows.
The Ench supports, that go first item power treads.
Same with the Chen, I'm gonna support you by farming mech in the jungle. It's like, you kind of get tricked into it, but I see clearly, I see under the lines, and I know he's still missing the jungle times.
Right. We'll see if he picks any of these heroes here against LGD. That's gonna be the next series. You were hyping this up earlier on the panel, Seb, so why should we be excited?
Yeah, super big series. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, Secret, they've been looking clean, super dominant, but I don't think that they have, faced a team that really could put up, quite the challenge yet, honestly. And I think if it's going to be any team in the tournament, it's going to be LGD.
Yeah,
LGD is looking super strong.
That's saying something, right? Because they did 2-0 Tundra. Granted, Tundra playing with the Hawk, that game as well, kind of falling apart, especially in game 2 with the Chrysalis Bloodseeker, one of the heroes that you can't let him touch, right? He's kind of that kind of player. But yeah, I mean, generally I'd agree with you. It didn't really seem like Tundra were at quite that level. Maybe it's a little bit like Liquid, where they're going to be taking some time to adjust to the new stand-in, but Tundra as well are going to be running out of time. They're actually playing versus D-Boosters on Stream B quite soon.
Yeah, well, we'll see that. You were saying, Seb, that this is like the proving grounds match for Chrysalis against LGD.
I think so. Even like for the whole Secret, so the new iteration of Secret, and for the new duo of Zayak and Arezzo, I think this is really a game that if they can match up with the LGD, let alone dominate this series, then that they're a big contender for the title even in this tournament.
Right.
But I don't know that it's gonna go this way. I think they're gonna be probably kind of stopped a little bit in their momentum, or challenged at the very least, because LGD is looking very, very dominant.
Okay, well, let's get to meet these guys. Let's see if their proving grounds will work out, and let's get to see who are the players on Team Secret.
it's very hot in Riyadh, but the rooms are not hot, which is very good. My expectations for this event is to win it. We might not be like the best team in other people's eyes, but we have a little bit of a change with the roster for now, and we might be capable of actually doing really, really well. Roster changes kind of make things hard, I would say, for a team to be stable, but at the same time it's necessary in order to find stability. So it's kind of a yin-yang type of situation. I don't really know what to say about the condition of my team because we have changed once again. We're just going to have to see if it kind of works out or not. To be fair, I think I was capable of beating those teams also with the previous roster and so on. And a lot of the games in DPC we kind of lost that we should have 100% won. And it just kind of happens too frequently and you end up being in the middle. I'm always ready to beat the best. I'm not sure how you get out of a slump because I'm in a slump right now. If I wanted to get out of it, I'd be already out of it. And of course, I'm trying to win and figure out the best way to win. And I think most of the time we should have succeeded, but things came in the way. And yeah, I don't know. There's nothing really better than to just keep doing what you're doing. And I think the environment will be similar to TI in a way. The problem is that the tournament is a bit shorter than the international because I think the international's vibe is connected to the fact that it's very long and you know it's coming. You know, the days that keep like running day after day are going to just kind of keep you hyped. But yeah, I think once people are going to get into the booths and understand that this is a lot on the line, they will feel similarly. I haven't really thought about the roster change in that sense of like bringing new people because, for instance, I know that Yazid would have loved to be in this tournament because it's an Arab tournament and he's been always waiting for a tournament like this to happen somewhere in these Middle Eastern areas. So it's kind of sad for him. But yeah, I haven't really put much thought into it. I'm just trying to see if we can win and with these changes. I mean, there's a little bit of a untrueness in the situation that we were unbeatable before because we were playing mostly European teams during the COVID time. So it's not like we were unbeatable to the EU teams, perhaps, but that doesn't mean that we were unbeatable for the world. I mean, if I would have an X factor, I'm not really sure if I would just blurt it out like that. I just think that we have a really good grasp on DOTA, and we already had it, I think, during this DPC times where we could have qualified for the last major. But I'm here to show that it's still possible to win tournaments even with these ideas that we lost our games with. So we are pushing our ideas, and we're trying to make them work really hard. So I think we can win this tournament with those ideas. I mean, I would always love to go to a Middle Eastern country because there are so many people that kind of constantly call us to go there, and there has not been yet a chance. They're not necessarily the biggest stages. Yeah, no, there will have always been big fans from the Middle Eastern places, and yeah, it's been always what they talk about. The DOTA scene here is huge, and would have always wanted to go, and now I am. I think my team's biggest strength is to kind of play unorthodoxly. Teams don't have billions of strengths; they have usually a few of them, and then they exploit it to their maximum.
Now I get to know Puppy a little bit more intimately. But one of the interesting things of that interview was the whole point about pushing his ideas, right? He has these ideas, yes, they didn't work for DPC, but he still believes in them, and he's going to keep pushing them. To me, those roster changes can make them happen. What are some of the ideas, if we could describe them, Seb, that you might have seen in the DPC?
From Secret?
From Secret.
I mean, I think he has he's played through so many patches and through so many teams, and also had to break teams that were very dominant. I think he has a very complete view of the game, and I felt, for instance, that they were playing much faster, much more aggressively, much more on their timings here. You know, I'm thinking when he plays Chen, you know, he has certain timings. He gets the mech, he gets, you know, the creeps, the auras, and I'm sure when he plays Chen as a Chen player, for all the Chen players out there, you appreciate when your team understand that, okay, you're strong, you know, you might be the position 5, but right now the game kind of has to, you know, be centered around you, because you're probably the strongest hero at that point in the game. And probably these are his ideas where, you know, he likes to see certain things happen because he knows they should be happening. And maybe it's just hard to get certain players that are maybe not as experienced to understand that and make it happen with him.
Yeah, I imagine at some point it's, you know, you've got this idea about Dota being as experienced as he is that, you know, this is the way I want to do it. He's already there. He's kind of done experimenting with his play styles, and he's got the one that works for him, and it's just a matter of changing a couple things around him at this stage, right? Bringing up some new players.
Definitely. And it's like, it's good to have in a team a player like that, where like you face against a team that, you know, proposes something that you haven't seen before. You're not really sure how to deal with it. Typically, that could be LGD, right? They're so innovative. But then you can always turn to Puppy, and he's going to have an idea on how to break it, you know, how to counter it, how to deal with it.
And then we also got with the players that came into the team, Zayats and Resolution being a standing currently, Zayats being the newest addition to the team. Are they the kind of experienced players that go well with these unorthodox ideas?
I mean, Rezo is very experienced, for sure.
Yes.
Maybe Zayak a little bit less, but Rezo has seen a lot of Dota, has played a lot of Dota too, so I'm sure he's very comfortable kind of tagging along and understanding what Puppy is trying to achieve. You know, we've always heard, I've never played under Puppy's leadership myself, so I wouldn't know, but from what you hear from interviews and whatnot, you hear that he's the kind of leader that really wants his ideas to kind of be pushed into the game and executed properly. And I'm sure that in Rezo, he has somebody that is keen on doing so. Nisha has been, you know, with him for a while now, so I'm sure he's completely on board. And then Chrysalis seems like a little bit more of a quiet player that's trying to, you know, fit in. So seems like he has a perfect group for that.
Yeah, and Zayats as well, you know, kind of been playing. I mean, he had a brief stint on, what was it, the Vega Squadron days, right?
Zayats?
Yeah, Zayats.
Oh, he's had many stints. I mean, he's been on Navi, for example, as well.
Yeah.
He's had his fair share of Dota, but unlike Rezo, he didn't reach the top until much later in his career.
But more recently, past couple of years, right, since then, he's kind of been on the Tier 2 scene, on the grind, on the hustle, kind of in the proving grounds, right, trying to get back up and noticed, right? So I think that kind of, you know, we saw a lot of crazy stuff in Eastern European Division 2 last year, right? A couple different approaches, lots of scrappy Dota. You know, sometimes you're not going to have to play the most meta stuff because you just got to play against this certain team and they run this. So I think, you know, bringing in a fresh idea like that, a fresh mind, Rezo already being very comfortable with him as well, I think certainly helps like that kind of meshing period between this team. Because, I mean, you saw in those replays, they absolutely crushed. Even just that top lane where Tundra did not have a stand-in.
Yeah.
Rezo Zayats completely new. They looked unstoppable.
They looked super comfortable. And yeah, I mean, one thing to mention about Rezo, I was thinking about it too, it's kind of crazy, right? Because he started Dota competitively dominating as a mid player. He was like one of the best.
He was the best laner in the mid lane for a while.
He was so good. And also when that was like very early days, and then he played on OG and he was playing mid too. And I remember, you know, I was coaching him back then and he was so dominating. Like we had strategies that would only revolve around Rezo SF or, you know, Invoker, and he would own. Then he transitioned to carry. You know, he had his carry days where he was famously known. That might have been even before, actually, where, you know, he stood in at, I don't remember which GI it was.
T5 Empire.
It might have been, right? And then he stood in, and then he was the kind of the destroyer of PG. That was like one of the most dominant team. Everybody remembers, you know, Rezo Sven coming in clutch. And now he's offlane, and we're praising how he's so dominant on the offlane. And these are like literally the 3 core positions. It is really impressive. It's really not easy. It's not something easy to pull off, and it says a lot about how adaptable he is, how much he understands about the game, so that he can really shift his gears whenever needed.
Yeah. Something rough as well, because you have a mid lane now so dominant. Usually that high ego is going to stop some players from developing further, but Rezo never gave that impression. Someone who's humble, really working hard on himself, both in and outside the game.
Yeah.
He's talked a lot about his mental health and his physical health, and he improves it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I imagine he went to NA, right before.
Yeah, he was with
Business
Associates or the team
yeah,
before
yeah,
that.
that's right. And yes, and that just didn't end up working out, right? And then not only that, but it's like right away you got to leave the region, and then he was kind of teamless for a while. Like, I think that period, you know, maybe he really, you know, did a lot of training, looking inward, you know, improving his mental health, physical health, and now he's here and just looking in top form, honestly, over on Secret in the off lane, like you said, very impressive across all 3 lanes.
He has great work ethics, really. Like having you know, worked with him, I think he has one of the best work ethics. He's very disciplined. You know, his training regime, how he takes care of, you know, like kind of his own schedule and how he wants to practice, in which capacity, you know, how much, how long. And it's really also contagious to his teammates, because it's very inspiring to have somebody like that alongside you. Yeah, I think he always, whenever he joins a team, he's like a force that's going to pull the team, you know, forward. Just because of how much effort he puts into it. He's great to work with, honestly. And you know, props to him, because he's had that when the teams were less structured, so there were no staff, like by his own, what I mean. You know, he understood the importance of that on his own, put it in place on his own, and kind of carried his team to, you know, encourage them to kind of tag along, and that's great.
That's something like really special that you see in like traditional sports as well, right? With like the great basketball stars, where not only they bring the star power, they bring the game-changing, you know, kind of moves and decisions, but they also kind of elevate the team around them, right? That's something that I think is kind of invaluable to have on our roster with a captain like Puppy, who's got all these, you know, great ideas, and he's kind of, I don't want to say seen it all, but seen most of what Dota has to offer at this stage. I think, yeah, it's a pretty intimidating team, honestly, on paper, for sure.
Love that point, because when it comes to elevating his teammates, his laning partner Zayat, he comes really close as well. He is one of the Dota players I've seen that's most interested in creating community. He comes from Kyrgyzstan, was one of the first players to do well from that region, and he set up schools for Dota players there. He made sure that he could coach people at LAN cafes. He made sure that everyone from that region had the same opportunities he did, and that was one of the first projects before he was even big. So that shows a kind of community sense that probably works really well in a secret that needs that team to work, especially after the slump, as Poppy called it.
Yeah, and that's all of these reasons are why they came in this tournament so dominant. But, you know, we just saw the images of their opponents, and they're going to have like a tough job to do now, because they're facing arguably one of the best team, if not the best team in the world. I know we've called them that for years, but when you look at the track record, you know, second at TI 8, third at TI 9, second at TI 10. I mean, you know, the results, they kind of speak for themselves. I don't know how they're still I mean, I'm thinking of Ame. I have to think of Ame. I have to talk about Ame, because he's been one of the best, if not the best carry player for so long, and he's always fall like so short, you know? I feel like if anyone deserves a TI title, then it has to be Ame, because everybody looked at him. Last TI, he was kind of the superstar, the carry, you know, he was the one bringing the Tiny into the meta. I remember we were scrimming, and then he started spamming Tiny in pub, and all of a sudden Tiny was the #1 hero of the patch. He's a crazy player. He is so good at the game, and I think I hope he doesn't lose faith, you know, because when you're so close to your objective and you don't quite reach it, it might be tough on you.
But I think like having a coach like Jabba on the team is got to be a huge help there, right? I mean, not only is the man TI winner, right? So he's been there, right? And he can kind of help him with, I imagine, what can be very complex emotions when you get there, not only once, twice, but 3 times, like you said. I mean, it's got to play on him a little bit, but having someone close to him that he can confide in and help him out, that's also the coach, and can, you know, turn that guidance not just like, you know, from you know, emotions, but also into gameplay, like, right? It's that one-to-one, that one guy that's going to be able to get you there. I think is a huge help to this team, and why they look so darn clean when they're on.
They really look like that, and you know, on top of that, I think he got a lot of flack after TI 8, unfortunately, from his team. Where like, yeah, he got a lot of flack, and then you look at the path of that team after, and TI 10, and he was kind of the last guy kind of remaining from the superstar LGD from TI 8 and TI 9, and he's in the finals in TI 10. So, you know, I think he probably also learned to deal with the criticism better. I'm just looking forward to see him perform whatever tournament he joins. I'm always looking out for the Ame show, because it's always an Ame show. He is so stable, he is so good, and he has such good teammates and coach, as you mentioned. I mean, what a team, honestly. That team is like, I'm a fan.
We can tell. And if we go from Ame as being the quintessential, the essence of LGD for a long time, the newer resurgence of LGD that people talk about is Senkyu, one of the best forwards in the world. This guy actually came up through a game show. I don't know if you guys know. It was a reality show where he first joined Tongfu. Yeah, it was a Chinese reality show called Dota Players of Stars, something with stars. It was, I watched every episode.
It was like Dancing with the Stars, but with Dota.
With Dota players, yeah. And he came in wide-eyed. What?
I'm so sad I missed that.
Yeah, it was not a very good show. But watching him was something else. And yeah, it was like a show where they scouted him for Tongfu. That was one of the first teams I went for. And then after a couple of years, he made this like kind of surprise path into LGD. And ever since, nobody's doubted his skill. Everyone's talked about him being the best pause for, and I think in TI finals it kind of showed. That Rubik performance was something else. Stopped collapse on that Magnus for one game,
Yeah, and not many people can brag about being able to stop collapse Magnus.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of the story. But, so definitely quite impressive when somebody manages to do so. But I mean, what I love the most about Q is how innovative he is and how he's like a trendsetter, because whatever he does, people have to copy because just how good he is at doing so, right? He was the one starting the cuddle with the double null when it was Pelamp and then one-shotting waves and made the cuddle 4 so popular. He did a lot of the monkey, the monkey kind of playing like a core, buying BKB. I mean, what else? The Snapfire was buying the shard early, that was him too. The Void +4, that was very popular in the East, not as much in the West, but I think at some point he might get it through. I mean, he did set like so many styles and turns. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, even here, the way he's playing on the Marcy, right, in game 1, looking completely unstoppable, setting records in literally the first game. They're the last team to play the first match, already setting 2 records on his Marcy.
Right.
An excellent Earth Spirit game, like... He's just showing up in force. Like his rotations in game 1 were just like absolutely flawless to really give the Zeus in that lane like the edge, and I think that really helped out the LGD in their 2-0 versus Spirit.
I love that you mentioned the Marcy because when you were on the TI final panel and you were talking about LGD, you mentioned how they are a team that does have like always plan A, plan B, plan C, right? I remember in that TI was the whole idea of buffing Tiny. If you can't get the Lycan, you suggested the Ogre, and that was actually what they deviated into later on. And here they seem to have the same thing. It's either Marcy, then Tiny, and then Earth Spirit. And it's one of the few teams that's willing to just commit to the same idea with a different hero.
I think this is their strength. And like for instance, all iteration of OG, we were very focused on kind of trying to build something that you could abuse, like kind of maximize the synergies between the heroes, the timings, the lanes. And I think this has maybe fallen a little bit behind in playstyle these days in Dota. It's much more about efficiency and being really good at kind of execution. But I feel like LGD, they're a team that still does it. And whenever they come up with a draft, and hopefully we will see it today, if you really break it down, you understand how much sense it makes and that it's really well thought through. And they're really trying to abuse strategies, which is honestly like the best thing to do in Dota. If Dota allows you to do so, then why not?
Yeah, and they're also doing some different things. I mean, the Lone Druid not completely unpicked this TPC tour, right? Liquid have given him a couple of goes, along with the Visage. Yeah, I mean, so he's playable. He's
Gunner as well, just him.
Yep, in NA. But like they come here and they pick it straight away 2 games in a row. I think maybe Spirit were not really expecting it last pick as well in game number 2. But
when you think of Ame, you don't necessarily think of Lone Druid, right? It really comes as a surprise.
Yeah, and that's terrifying, right? Because like you said, plan A, plan B, plan C. That's only plan A. It seems like, Jabba has got like 4 other binders full of strategies that are ready to throw at you. I mean, I don't know. It's quite the impressive opponents to face.
It's like if you had to name a hero or a strat that these guys cannot play or you haven't seen play, I think it's really hard to come up with even one over the years. So they can literally play anything at the highest level and kind of enhance it to the point where it just feels broken. And I think this is what really makes them such a scary opponent.
Okay, I do have one strat I think you probably have not seen, which is seeing them play basketball. But we don't have that clip just yet. We have secrets instead, and we'll see how their basketball skills match their Dota skills.
I should take them out because they're going to block. Too much. Too little. Too much. Halfway. Not going to. How much minutes I got?
5 seconds.
Oh, so that's the last one.
3, 2, 1.
Almost
done.
I'm glad we got to see that. Puppy, we've seen all the range of players. We don't actually care about how good they are, but it's the emotions towards this game. We've seen try hard, we've seen insane enjoying the game, and then Puppy being frustrated by the existence of this game, which was, I think, is peak Puppy.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, and actually, unfortunately, that's the lesson we have because he did, the basketball fell off the table right after that. I mean, no one really knows what happens, but it was hacked in half by Machete.
Yeah, well,
it got very noisy in that room at some point, right? Like I heard a lot of bangs and stuff too. We don't know what happened.
We don't know. We'll never know.
I can't wait to see LGD LGD's video as well, so we can comment on their skill. I wonder if they did well. But yeah, we're getting ready for the draft. The draft is starting in around a minute and a half, so very exciting. We talked a lot about strategies and ideas, but let's talk about specific hero picks. You mentioned some innovative picks, Richie. What are some things to look out for in this match against Secret for LGD?
Oh, for Secret to pick up.
Or either. Give me an idea.
I mean, I always have to go to Crystal's hero pool. You know what I mean? Like, that is the one thing I think perhaps holding him back from being like the superstar carry, right? Once he starts expanding his playstyles and his heroes and stops being a little bit less of, we got to pick him early and protect him with the bans, I think this team's really going to take off.
Okay.
So I'd be eager to see if maybe this is where they start experimenting a little bit. They're up 2-0. You know, you only have 8 games total to play. That's what I'd be looking forward to.
I mean, I feel like when you get the chance to play against LGD, it doesn't happen that often, especially for a team that, you know, hasn't had the best results in DPC. If they want to win TI this year, they're going to have to go against LGD at some point, one way or another. So I think you want to really go full on and really try your strongest strategies and your most comfortable, you know, zones against them and see how well you match against them.
Interesting. So you think we're going to probably see his comfort heroes here?
I think so. I think they should try to aim to really go full force and see, you know, can they take the fight to the LGD, or are they still kind of one step behind?
I'd like to see that, because that feels like confidence, right? I mean, you know that Shaba is going to be preparing for it. LGD are going to be ready for it. So yeah, I'm really keen to see what they do and what LGD do in response as well.
Yeah, I am pumped as well. I always like seeing a good Bloodseeker, and we're about to see them. But first, we got to see the players. So let's check out how they walk out onto our wonderful stage. Okay. Now, we did that well.
Well, we've already been treated to some amazing Dota, but we're only just past the halfway mark. And up next, we've got a team that is going to be mighty tantalizing. Yes, they've already sunk their teeth into some Eastern European Dota, but now they seek the blood of the Westerners. It is time to welcome to the stage PSG.LGD.
شفنا الفريق الأول وصل للمسرح، لكن خصمهم شفنا وش اللي ممكن يسويه في المباريات السابقة. حتى اللحظة هذه ما خسروا ولا مباراة، هم الفريق الأول في الجروب حقهم. أعزائنا المشاهدين والحضور، رحبوا معنا بتيم سيكرت. Well, he might not be able to find the spot, but Team Secret have definitely been hitting the spot. 4-0 so far, but their opponents, LGD, yet to drop a game themselves. The stakes are high. Let's see who can continue and maybe make it a lossless run for the group stage as we head back over to the desk. حتى اللحظة هذه لا فريق PSG أو فريق تيم سيكرت خسروا مباراة، لكن واحد منهم بيطلع من المباراة هذه ديفيتد، وبيكون عندنا فريق واحد فقط هو اللي مار في كل الجروب ستيج بدون ما يخسر ولا مباراة. مين بيكون؟ تيم سيكرت جاهزين، PSG جاهزين، وأيضا المحللين والمعلقين جاهزين، فخلونا نروح عندهم على طول ونبدأ معكم المباراة الثالثة لليوم الثاني من رياض ماسترز.
You could really see that LGD efficiency. They hit every single spotlight I think they're the first team to actually accomplish that. Great job, LGD.
Maybe that's what the basketball training is for. You know, like knowing how to get it in the circle.
That's a good one. I like it. I mean, we always talk. Richie and I always say that Dota is a game of Venn diagrams. A lot of circle skills of one each other, right?
The pros love circles. You know, making the Venn diagram, circles on circles. You know, Monkey King, Chrono. I mean, probably not those two, but you know.
That's a classic event. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna get to see some wonderful Dota. We talked a lot about the team of LGD, but I think the Xiaoba mention was very appropriate because we look at the history of Dota a little bit. Since its win is TI4, it was always the change for China, right? From being that quote-unquote slower farming style into the optimized, efficient, almost cutthroat style. And it was all the director's job. He was one of the main innovators of that. And you can tell that in LGD style, for sure.
Yes, they're very aggressive. I think they're just really smart, honestly. Like, I look at them as, of course, you get really, like, blinded by how skillful they are. And, you know, but even before that, I think they're like one of the smartest teams out there, if not the smartest, and Xiao8 has a lot to do with it, obviously. I mean, he's one of the greatest minds of the game ever. And, you know, him going against Puppy, it's like a classic, you know, it's like these minds. Then you have the Heen, of course, on Secret side. And, of course, I'm sure everybody's involved in the teams, but, like, these guys, they've been, like, battling it, you know, with Dota ideas at the highest level for years now, and it's just amazing to have these matchups again over and over again. I'm never gonna get tired of it.
Oh yeah. The director might have done some slower movies in the past, but now it's all about that efficiency, playing on the timings, you know, and hitting the marks on the first time. I mean, again, in their series over Spirit, it was not particularly close in either game.
Yeah. No, he used to be Scorsese. Now he's on TikTok, man.
There it is. Yeah, he's playing the hits right now. But it works. It's working, man.
Exactly. And I can't wait to see this draft. As you said, Battle of the Minds. That's where this really comes into play. And we're going to get to see some of the highest level drafting that we usually get to see in tournaments in this Secret versus LGD. We now see the logos up on the screen. The draft will show up any second now.
Oh, yeah. My only regret is that it's at most 2 games we get to see, because, you know, I'm always kind of hoping for the 3rd game just to see how the draft develops to the 3rd. But, I mean, we've got the first one here right in front of us already, and there is the Marcy ban. So Secret keen to take that one out of the hands of SinQ.
The early Phoenix ban, I got to ask about that one.
There's a lot of respect on the Timbersaw too. Like, I'm really surprised because Tundra first banned it twice against Rezo. I assume it's against Rezo. I mean, I know Nisha has played it from mid too, so maybe it's like a hero. Maybe that might be the reason, because it's like maybe an open pick and people just fear that hero. Yeah. Obviously, you know, like, it's been banned, popularized by Omar, banned first phase, so just everybody's looking at it. But yeah, a hero to mention, LGD decided to ban that again. Yep. Secret, they do go for the Razor ban, which LGD has first picked twice, like on first pick and second pick, without even protecting it, just like straight Razor. So a lot of respect here already.
Yeah, the Tiny explains the Phoenix ban as well. Getting rid of that combo that was OG actually that was playing against it.
Yeah, actually, LGD is one of the most versatile team with Tiny, because I know that Faith Beyond also enjoys the hero very much on position 3. Ame plays it, Faith Beyond plays it, Nothing to Say plays it, XinQ plays it, and we've seen Kuro kind of popularize the Tiny 5, and I'm sure that's why, being such a good player, there's nothing he can't execute. So this could be a hero that could literally fill any of the 5 positions.
Yeah, speaking of a hero that can almost fill any 5 positions, right? The Dawnbreaker as well. We've seen Sumel take that mid. It's gone safe lane, off lane, of course, very popular. Even sometimes support, right? I think Insania pulled it out and rushed the Acceptor kind of build, which might have been problematic had it not been for some clever itemizations for Tomato in that game. So the hero presents problems to you in any sort of position, much like the Tiny. So I think this is a fair response from Secret as they continue to show just as much flex for now.
Yeah, very few angles kind of being exposed. Now the Zeus come. This is like a classic Nigma opener. I think they were the first ones to kind of popularize this opener, Dawnbreaker, Zeus. Very versatile laners, as you mentioned. They can go, you know, on all 3 lanes. They synergize really well together also. Obviously, you know, the global presence from the Zeus, the Dawnbreaker, just gives you like a lot of flexibility on how you want to play the map. A lot of nuke. Zeus is mainly magic, Dawnbreaker mainly physical. These 2 heroes just complement each other really well, and they're just easy to draft. You draft them, and you cannot get abused in any way. You can keep looking at the draft and kind of decide which path you want to go.
And both of these laners, especially now for the Zeus, surprisingly resilient, right? I mean, the Dawnbreaker, of course, I barely need to mention it. She's kind of terrorizing every single game, seemingly. But the Zeus with the Heavenly Jump can be quite troublesome, even in the mid lane. 404 is what Thompson's been running, going for the denies, like right in enemies' faces, you know, with that Heavenly Jump, kind of making it that much harder to kill this hero.
Yeah. And maybe the one weakness of the Zeus, sometimes if it's not a mid hero, is like his impact on the lanes, because obviously, you know, he has no slow, he has no stuns. I mean, there's the Heavenly Jump, but it's kind of it's a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, it's limited.
But then if you have a Dawnbreaker that's such a strong and dominant laner, then you know that your Zeus is not going to be a burden. You're going to get the full value out of it. So one more reasons for why this duo of hero as an opening picks is very nice.
Yep, that makes sense. You want to dive the Zeus, especially maybe on the hero, like the Ember Spirit. Dawnbreaker can ulti in, but I still like this Ember Spirit regardless. It's another hero to jump in with the Tiny, right? They can kind of look to play together. Ember can sit back, just costing a couple of sleight of fists just for damage over time in the fights. Yeah, it's good.
I mean, nothing to say Ember.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. That is a good point to you, because when you talk a lot of mid laners now, they say that like puck matchups or like the classic anti-Zeus matchups of jumping on you are not so good because Zeus has so much damage and he runs away. But Ember with his poke has more chances of getting away with his life.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really expect to see like the Dawnbreaker Solar Guardian connecting onto an Ember, for example.
Yeah.
Right, and you can't really say that about really almost any melee hero, it feels like, right? Of course, Ember, is he melee, is he not? Sleight of fist, but that's why they pick him, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And I believe you cannot use Heavenly Jump if you're rooted by Ember. So that's also like a good way to like kind of catch the Zeus and make sure you kill him, because it's all about killing him.
Yep.
If Zeus stays alive in any fight for the entire duration of the fight, chances are that it's not gonna go well for you. You really have to give this hero attention and burst him down the second you get the chance to. Ember, great hero at doing so. There's maybe something in the Zeus versus Ember matchup that I'm not so familiar with the matchup myself, so maybe this is something, obviously I could only assume that Nothing to Say is quite comfortable in the matchup against Zeus, but I do think that Dawnbreaker mid should be really strong against Ember mid also. Right. So that could be something we could look at on Secret side, like decide to shove the Dawnbreaker on mid. I think Nisha has played it and very successfully in the DPC, so it could be something they're looking at.
Yeah, I'm quite interested. There's the Monkey King ban for the man himself, Chrysalis, on your screens.
Yeah.
The Huskar ban is a little bit out of left field for me.
I think they're trying to protect the Ember mid also.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Right. That's literally the worst matchup, I think, in Dota.
Yeah, it's very tough. And it's a one bird, two stone in the sense that these are two Chrysalis heroes that he's really comfortable with, both the Huskar and the Monkey King.
True.
So, very, very good bans, I would say. And I like the emphasis on Secret. They're banning supports. They're like just like appreciating that LGD is gonna pick supports that make a lot of sense for them. The Nyxes or the Warlocks that are maybe not as popular, but I see a lot of respect from Secret here. They're banning kind of LGD heroes that, I mean, you wouldn't see any team second phase ban Warlock against anybody.
Right. No, yeah, that's the second time it's happened to LGD. Didn't stop him from beating Spirit in the rematch, but we'll see how it works for Secret. As Puppy's going to pick up the hero he drew, the Chen.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit better than the one he drew, I will say. But Slightly, yeah.
I liked his drawing better. I don't know about you guys, but I do think that also justifies the Doom ban to a little degree, right? They're protecting the Chen, and they're doing what you're talking about, Seb, where they know Chen is strong in the early, therefore they're going to protect it a little bit. He's a little bit of a win condition.
And same thing I would say with this Nyx ban, right? It's not the craziest thing anymore against a Dawnbreaker, but this very well, not a Dawn 5. It's probably a Dawn core in some capacity now with the Chen shown. But, you continue to flex it, right? You don't feel so bad playing a Dawnbreaker core if there's no Nyx. If there's a Nyx, it feels a bit weaker. You got a BKB, you got to always catch the Nyx first. It's not a fun matchup to play.
Yep.
You look at this lineup from Secret now, and I can already feel like something quite massive, right? They're going to group up around the Chen with the mech, the Dawn ulti threat, the Zeus that, of course, excels at just fighting, pressing all his spells, and he's going to be hard to kill, through the Chen auras and the mech. So right now, they have the Tiny, they have the Ember. It's decent heroes, especially Ember. If he gets to the Maelstrom, he's one of the heroes that's going to... He's not going to care. He's going to fight into that, but I feel like LGD, they need to start worrying about, how do we fight into this? How do we fight into this massive lineup that's going to go for objectives and force our attention? And
exactly.
It is scary. They did that yesterday. Similar kind of lineup, and they had the Rasta, they had the Chen, and they had the Dawnbreaker also. These kind of heroes, and Wyvern, great answer already. AoE control, and I think they need to add on top of that to be able to fight into Secret's lineup.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, right? Because the Tiny, the Ember themselves, they got a lot of kill threat, but you're not necessarily scared of running at them.
Yeah.
Now you are with the Wyvern, right? So the AoE Winter's Curse is going to be a big resetting point. Dawnbreaker hits like a truck, especially Desolator is not an uncommon item on the hero whatsoever when it's a carry or in one of the core roles, right? So, yeah. I
want to ask a question about the Wyvern, though, because they banned the Warlock, which is similar in concept, right? BK Piercing Ultimate, healing, but they leave the Wyvern. Could that be a little bit of a bait because they have the Zeus already? They want to punish that?
Of course. I mean, you look at the Zeus, and Wyvern into Zeus doesn't sound like a good idea, but I think at that point, you don't need all your heroes to counter the same hero, right?
Right.
Maybe they feel like the Zeus has been addressed with the Ember, and that he's going to already have something to worry about, and he's not going to be able to play 100%. And now they're just looking at this Chen Dawnbreaker lineup, and they're like, okay, we need something to fight into that, and maybe that is Wyvern. Wyvern ulti also really good because you start the fight and you know Dawnbreaker ulti is going to come and then you curse and you know that it's going to negate completely what Dawnbreaker is going to try to do when he comes into the fight. So
yep. I was going to say, I think the Visage is probably a pick we're going to see against Secret quite a bit because it's already such a value ban to take away the Monkey King, one of the better Visage counters in lane especially.
Right, good
so
point.
that it's, you know what I mean, you're already kind of incentivized because you want to ban that monkey. So it's picked up here, but we still get to see a Crystallis Classic, right? It'll be the Bloodseeker, and I know that excites you quite a bit.
It always excites me. Yeah, it's a good pick.
Yeah, and I really like the Visage, right? Because you can play up with the familiars. It gives you some really fantastic siege. Ember, Tiny, they don't, Wyvern especially, they don't really want to be up front when they're sieging. At some point you also have to draft in mind for pushing up to high ground versus a Zeus Dawnbreaker. That's quite a tough egg to crack, right?
Yep.
So you can just park the Visage familiars up on the high ground, Dahawk style with your Wraith Pact or whatever, AC Aura, and those things will get to work with the 15 talent that Visage has. So I quite like the way that LGD are formulating for a push, the defense with the Wyvern, the wave clear with the Ember Spirit. It all makes sense to me.
It does. I think Secret on their side, they're probably happy with the laning matchup that they got. They got the same yesterday against Tundra's Visage, the Hack playing Visage, and they went for the Bloodseeker and the Chen also, and it worked out pretty well.
Yep.
They're probably looking to do the same, very potent lane against the Visage. I'm expecting the Tiny to lane with the Visage. That's what it looks like right now, and they probably need a hero that's going to stop the aggression onto the Visage. Think of the Chen using Penitence and Bloodseeker running him down. You need a +4 that's going to help protect you, at least for the first waves. And now, it's going to be a lot about the Ami hero, which I assume is coming up, and that should be an Ember mid. What is Ami going to be looking at playing with this kind of lineup?
Yeah, what is the goal of this last hero? What does that to fulfill here for LGD?
Versus your Zeus's, even kind of a Bloodseeker, I'm always thinking kind of a Faceless Void, but with the mass healing, especially from range, it's not really looking so great, right?
Yeah, you would have they need more damage.
Yeah, they need damage. The lockdown's pretty good, but they just need the hard carry to come in.
They had a strat at TI where they would play Luna Visage together a lot and kind of use the overwhelming amount of damage, the auras, the Vlads. It could be a hero they're looking at, and of course Luna not the best hero against Zeus, not the best hero against Bloodseeker just by nature, because your job is kind of to stand your ground, and obviously these heroes kind of enjoy nuking you from afar, getting ruptured. But again, they have the Visage familiars, the Tiny, the Ember to close the gap, and now it's more about finding a way to make this lineup very synergetic, which is always what LGD focuses on.
Yeah. We'll see what the last pick is. That Luna is an interesting idea. I know Faith Beyond is a big fan of adding damage to units. He was one of the guys that tries it on everything.
Yes.
Yeah, and they do ban the Luna. I also kind of like the Luna because I think I was about to say, the only thing you need is this frontliner right now for LGD, right? Someone who, when they have their items, obviously, is going to be able to kind of just run at enemies, right? And kind of just be the front line for the rest of the team to play around and behind, specifically for some of these heroes. So it's the Alk draft out.
Am is a very comfortable Alk player. He's very comfortable on the hero, really good on it. And obviously Alk is going to bring a lot of damage because of the farm that he's going to get. If you're not able to stop him, then he gets, the Radiance, the BKB, the Blink. It comes so quick and too soon. So definitely a hero that is going to be able to kind of fight into that. The Acid Spray, I think Alk Wyvern also have kind of nice combination. I quite like it. The Acid Spray, effect under the Winter's Curse, extra damage, the Unstable Concoction to kind of follow up. Acid Spray with Ember, also very nice.
Exactly. Familiars, right? Who
familiars,
benefit a lot from that,
they're kind of buffing on this damage, and the heroes are going to die. Like this Zeus, suddenly with Acid Spray, with the Vlads and the Sleight of Fist, he might just die right away. One stun, he's just going to pop off.
I think that's the strat to really get through the Bloodseeker, because eventually he's going to outscale you with his damage over time, right? He gets one kill and oh my god, he's healed 30%. Right. What do you do, right? So you want to make sure you can reduce the time to kill, get through that physical armor so the Alk can scale nicely there and get those big red numbers and put him down.
And Secret, they don't really have a proper save, right? They have the Dawn ulti and the Chen, but it's still not enough. It's going to be too much damage. So I see how LGD with this Alk, if he does get online, they have a way to start the fight and make sure that whoever they start to take, they want to take down, they will take him down and then take it from there and outnumber them in the fight. So quite interesting. And on the, I'd say their lane is pretty weak though. The Alk Wyvern lane can be abused, especially when you're looking at a Dawnbreaker potentially coming to this lane or another hero, helping him out if it's a Zeus mid.
That's Techies. That's Zayat's Techies.
Zayat's, man.
Oh, man.
Dawn Techies lane, that's a scary one.
Yeah.
Very scary. And then, it's the Spirit players, they hate playing against Techies.
Yep.
So it's Very interesting. We get to see it finally.
And I think after this game, LGD, win or loss, they're going to hate playing against Zayat's techies. He was a techie spammer back on the old techies. He would still pick it up.
He loved that hero.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best in the world at playing techies, honestly.
Yeah, he's really darn good. Of course, no longer has the annoying proximity mines and the remote mines, but much stronger laner. He's got the amazing shard as well with the stun on the incredible cast range. It's I think a little bit more team fight as well for the draft that they weren't necessarily lacking, but I think is going to be some extra damage on top to try and burst the Alk. That's the problem, right?
Yeah, and they have great heroes to do so. Techies, Zeus. Gonna be nice to see.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of the PTSD on Seb's face. He's played against us in a pub at some point, but this time it's going to be LGD who has to deal with it. So let's see what their answer is going to be. Let's see if they can take game 1 off Secret, or if Secret would surprise us with his Zayat's Techies pick. Please take away Bcop and Black.
Thank you very much, Avo. Yeah, it is Techies this time for the side of Secret, which is something we used to see in Q play when LGD was giving Techies a chance, although a few interviews we've talked to him, doesn't really want to play it that much anymore.
1 out of 10, he said.
1 out of 10. He said it's not a good hero anymore. My pubs say otherwise. Not that they're very high MMR pubs, but they do say otherwise. It's a very difficult hero to deal with, I feel like, just because I play support and he just jumps on me and has 3 mines and I die.
His damage output for 4 is kind of ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, once the chart gets online, he jumps on you, stuns you, double proximity mine, you take a ton of damage, then you have the what I call sticky bomb on you as well, which is like another 400 damage. It is definitely one of the most burst heavy plus 4s you could have picked, and that's exactly what they lacked, right? Damage. I thought they might put the Zeus on 4 and pick another damage hero for mid.
Yeah.
That fulfills the same role.
Yeah, we'll see what the Techies ends up doing, and we'll see how LGD play around it, right? Like, they're proficient with this hero on their team. I guess the question now becomes, there was really nobody in China who played it against them, but what they can do now that they see it, probably for one of the first times or so, at least in the most recent patch, so...
Yeah. It's also a good answer against Winter Wyvern, right? Cold Embrace is basically a free setup for all your spells. It's a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah.
And also, of course, now the new proximity mines actually reduce your magic resistance. So that together with the Zeus, like, you can solo kill heroes around the map with their Zeus ult.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun. Magic resistance reduction of 25% at level 3.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So then those numbers change. The numbers, last time we saw Zeus, that we talked about, the threshold of kills with the Thunder God's Wrath. I'm
a very aggressive all by himself.
Alone throwing a stun, sure.
They kind of gave away the ward position, though. So that should be dewaarded momentarily. Yep. Does he use his own?
It is.
Or he uses Puppy's sentry to deward it, so he gives Puppy 100 gold. What a bro.
101, actually.
What a bro. Why is it 101?
It's, you know, Dalmatians and things like that.
I would have used my own.
Oh, be greedy with it? 100%. Yeah. Oh, I'm in on that. Use my own sentry ward to clear it up. It's my gold. I did the work. But he gives it away to Puppy. And we see a lot of Winter Wyvern in the 5 position in China. We've talked about it numerous amounts of times. As Arctic Burn with the stun onto the Techies. That's taking a lot of damage. Needs to be a little bit careful. But it does kind of run out once the Arctic Burn goes, and the stun doesn't really have much of a follow-up in terms of damage from Ame.
Yeah, and Alchemist has also really changed from this like super greedy hero into an actual strong laner if you take those laning abilities. So Armor and Y on the bottom lane should be completely fine, unless they caught out of position. A lot of damage output.
Just walking right back into that mine. And this is not looking too fun for Ame at the moment, and it's only going to get worse, right?
Yeah, but once he's level 2 with that acid spray, they can aggress on a resolution themselves as well. It's going to be a lot of damage coming out. And I believe Secret yesterday picked this Bloodseeker lane against the same lane, right?
I think so.
Oh, little self-stun there. It's a lot of damage on yourself. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, looking to jump in, and now with the Celestial Hammer doing some follow-up damage, just not really deadly damage. Although Dawnbreaker's early damage feels really strong too. So up here in the top lane,
nice body blocks.
Faith Beyond on the Visage, and we've seen him play this Visage a lot. It's very popular, and there's the nuke damage that you get early on with that Soul Assumption. First blood for Faith Beyond, taking out Chrysalis on that Bloodseeker.
There was 3 Soul Assumptions on him, by the way. So yeah, the cooldown is obviously ridiculously low. Charge is done, but yeah, they can't really aggress. Dawnbreaker's too strong here.
They keep wanting to pull this combo, and Ame, he's in a lot of trouble and will fall to Resolution.
Yeah, this lane is super strong. Like Dawnbreaker plus 1 aggressive post 4 hero is really, really ridiculous. We've seen it yesterday too. Like Secret love that Dawnbreaker hero, and they crush every lane they play it in. So they have to be very careful that Resolution doesn't snowball again like it did yesterday.
Yeah, that was a bit of a big snowball. Goes in for the silence, throws the stun out on a Resolution, not really doing much there. And I'm curious to see what Y does with his skill build, because he's gone 1-2, avoiding the Cold Embrace, because knowing in this lane that just sets him up for techies if he heals someone, right?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised though, because the Starbreaker is the real big damage, and if you Cold Embrace, it deals 0 damage. And we've seen it a lot in China, especially as a Dawnbreaker counter, right?
Yeah, that and like Nyx Assassin has been the mega Dawnbreaker counters, at least the attempts to be. Celestial Hammer, once again, the stun's thrown, but the burn damage is there. Zayat's getting credit for the kill. This bottom lane going really well for Team Secret as they claim another life.
I gotta say, I'm very surprised he didn't go into the Acid Spray at level 2. The first level of Acid Spray is really so potent. -4 armor and a lot of damage. I feel like they could have maybe traded a little bit better with that.
Certainly could be a bit of a deterrent, that's for sure.
Now he got it though, so now the strength is still there. And we'll see if they put it to good use or not.
But is it too little too late? Like, would the Acid Spray have been more effective when everybody was level 2 now compared to level 3?
Yeah, I mean damage-wise for sure. Also the Soul Ring should be pretty much completed on Dawnbreaker, so you have the additional armor, you don't care as much. Doesn't really put you close to the minus anymore.
Top lane, Faith Beyond.
Run
They're
away,
aggressing on him, but he'll try to TP out. The damage not quite there. And then bottom again, it's Innocence going down. Like, Y just can't survive. Zayats gets a little bit low. They do throw the Acid Spray this time, but it doesn't matter. This early Dawnbreaker damage is really a big problem. And both the side lanes have been pretty loud, but what's been pretty quiet is the mid lane of Nothing to Say going up against Nisha on this Zeus. So right now, 28-8, 24-5, pretty even for the most part.
Yeah, don't worry, it's going to get loud once Zeus hits 6.
Yeah.
Hear that clap and bam!
You wish you had that power?
I mean, I can clap quite loudly. I don't want to demonstrate because I don't want to hurt anyone's ears and get sued for it, but you know
Or strike us with lightning was more the
right.
ability part of that, not the clapping. Everybody can clap.
Yeah, speak up. That is a great analysis.
Hey, that's why it's not my job. Interesting move there by Puppy. I don't know if he was meaning to do that, but he threw down an obs and then a sentry in these trees. But he does cut the tree that gives it a little bit more vision. Because it was blocked off and then Tango tree.
Yeah, Zeus is level 6 now, so it's time to aggress as soon as possible. The magic number? No, that's not the magic number.
All right, early Thunder God's Wrath still going for Y, looking for Ame too.
Yeah.
They'll get one, and they might even just dive for a second. Splinter Blast, Zayat scared about going past the tier 1 tower, but you know who's not? Resolution. He's ready to go in, and Y, though, with the Arctic Burn getting away, and he's got that healing salve back to over half health. Rezo's under the tower. You've got Ame up in just a second, but Celestial Hammer with the Starbreaker goes into the Golden Embrace. Let's see if the Techies throws anything. Nisha low over mid too. They get the kill to Y. They end up trading Nisha. Now can Resolution die, or, well, I guess that's not on Ame's New Year's list.
Yeah, it's very hard to kill anyone actually with Alchemist. You are really just there to be strong in your lane. Xingqiu has to be careful. He might just be dead.
Right clicks, TP, just in time. And he went all the way back to base again. And they're going after Ame. They have no idea what to do with this early damage coming from Techies and Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, this lane is ridiculous, and they're using it perfectly again. Setting up Resolution for a perfect game. Look at that damage coming out from Techi's mines. It's ridiculous.
And then Celestial Hammer.
Kill again.
Got the cold embrace off. Not looking like that's going to matter all too much. Maybe the neutrals handle him. Not in
careful,
time.
Armor, careful.
Yeah, he's getting baited into this. He doesn't have a lot of mana to work with, and now they could just chase even further. They want the kill. They got Faith Beyond up in top, and LGD are falling by the wayside here. Finally, an avalanche toss from Jinkyu, but it's still not enough. Needs the extra right click, and, well, there goes Ayats finally, right? Techies, everybody in Techies pubs breathes a sigh of relief collectively.
He has been an absolute menace in this game, 100%. And that was pre-6. Once he's level 6, the damage up is just going to get stronger. He's probably going to go into a shard straight away. And as we said, there's so much global potential, right? Techies jumps on, suddenly you have Dawnbreaker, Solar Guardian coming, you have Zeus ult that deals a lot of damage. Like this, like Secret's drafts are really, really strong in this tournament.
Sustain is the name of the game.
Yeah, and they make so much sense. There's so much combo.
Faith Beyond again.
Dead again.
Chrysalis has Rupture, so he tries to hide behind the Tier 1 tower, but not going to be able to survive, even though the Avalanche was there from Jinkyu, and well, they were thinking about going with a TP towards top, but that ain't happening, and they'll leave this Visage to die.
I think people will start to have, they will have to start banning the Bloodseeker if you want to go for this Visage. Secret has been doing this pretty much the entire tournament long. You pick this tiny Visage, they're just going to counter with Chen plus Bloodseeker. Yesterday they completely destroyed it, and today looks like the same story again.
4K lead just 8 minutes into the game. This is...
Yeah, Faith Beyond has nothing.
Quite the lead, and now they go after Nothing to Say. They'll look over mid. They've got the silence. They have a third with the Solar Guardian of Resolution. Not that it was entirely needed, but it's kills everywhere. 10-3. Secret, they've got their grasp on the game.
Yeah, and usually the way back into a game like this would be the Visage, but he's only level 4 at minute 9 into the game. They might even have to think about giving him the Tome to reach level 6.
Which means really your supports are going to fall
even further
further
behind the Bloodseeker. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is pretty insane, especially with the fact that they got First Blood.
Yeah. I mean, they had to blow all the mana to get it, but yeah. I think you can take so much damage. This is dead.
Yeah, not looking good. Tossing him away, surviving a little bit longer. Ame over in the bottom lane too. He's going to fall, and it's kills across the map again. Faith Beyond, he'll hit the deck. 3 heroes got on the side of LGD. It's just not looking good for LGD, and it might be a quick one. Y sets himself up to be hit with that Bloodright silence, killed, gone. Double kill for Chrysalis. Finally, a kill comes the way of Nothing to Say. It is on Nisha, but you traded the rest of your team for it.
He sees Puppey too. Puppey's pretty vulnerable here.
Yeah, Jinkyu here.
Goodbye, Puppey.
And Avalanche toss. Nothing to Say with a double kill. So that's something to get back, and maybe a way for LGD to get back into the game is to rely on Nothing to Say, which has been the case in the past before. Not as frequently as, say, maybe the whole Ghost and Somnus dynamic, but that's what's good about this combo of Nothing to Say and Ame, right? Like, if one falls, maybe you can rely on the other. You usually have one of them being available.
Yeah.
But this is already a big net worth lead for Secret that they have to try and climb out of.
Wait, Ame actually went for a medallion on Alchemist. Carry Alchemist, that is. On support is completely common, but carry Alchemist with a medallion? Like, makes you wonder, does he still even want to go for that Radiance? Because you're delaying it by like a good 1.4k gold.
Yeah, not the best situation to be in for Ame, that's for sure. Y sitting here bottom, hoping he can get level 6, but, well, they see you, and Starbreaker is out, the damage is in, Zayat's with the kill. They have Techies under the tower. This should be their opportunity to get a kill onto the Techies and take the Thorn out of their side. And it puts Nothing to Say on a killing spree as he gets credit for that kill. Again, Nothing to Say, kind of getting a little bit of farm. He's up there in the net worth.
Yeah. And a strong Ember Spirit can definitely crack this game wide open. Sure, if you get Raptured, it's a bit annoying, but you always have the Remnants with reverse. Rapturing Xingqiu.
Need to run.
Goodbye,
try and leave. But unfortunately, that ain't happening. Bloodright finishes him off. Crystal is now dominating. Looking at this net worth, I don't know if I've ever seen LGD in such a situation where Faith Beyond, who we have called the anchor of this team so many times, is behind both supports and his position opponent.
Yeah, the Secret supports are mega rich. They have a mechanism again, and the Hand of God, like we already saw yesterday, how much damage mitigation it is and how much heal. Nice curse though, potentially.
A lot of damage here on a Puppey. Zayat's going in. They've got the silence. It's through the Visage. The Hand of God is used, and they'll still get the kill on a Faith Beyond. It will be credited to Puppey. They look over, nothing to say. Ame already low. Starbreaker lands. They take out Zayat, but they end up losing Ame and Y. Nothing to say with the Searing Chains. It comes through on Anisha, but Nisha's got the damage to get the kill on Nothing to Say and put out his flame. And it's a full team wipe here for Secret as they run down the last. It's now a 6K lead for Secret, and LGD still pondering on what's next, at least on their side of the map, because, well, I don't know if they figured out how to cross the river or do anything else.
It's very reminiscent of yesterday's Secret versus Tundra.
Yeah, the 40-5.
Yeah, it is very, very tough to come back from a game like this with an Alchemist. Sure, you always have to wait to come back into the game like via farming, but his itemization plus his skill build, he only has 1 level in Greed. He's not looking to farm, he's looking to fight, but you're so far behind already. So I'm not entirely sure what your comeback plan back into this game is, because you're already losing all the team fights. Usually it would be via farming, making space for him, but that's not what he's really going for.
How do you even open up the map for anybody on this team for LGD?
It's all or nothing to say really right now.
And after that last
Radiance eventually, and it will be a good amount of damage, but if the Dire Heroes are too rich, you're just gonna die. Like, he walked into the fight, thought he was tanky, died instantly.
Is under attack.
Yeah, not sure what the mindset was there.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But Secret's mindset so far has just been pure aggression, and it's working. They're gonna go for Ame once again. Charges up the stun, here comes Nisha, Heavenly Jump, the damage is in. He does feel tanky against 2 right now, and he does have Jinkyu over to the side. So Secret, wise enough, and this is something we complimented for the few series we've seen of Secret previously, is that they've been very sure about their movements. They know when they pull off. They know when they want to just go back. They've stayed conservative at times, and they don't overreach. And that is one of those moments, knowing that that tier 1 is still up. They don't know what's behind them, so they pull away. Solar Guardian, Celestial Hammer, the silence is on and Nothing to Say. They've got the Thunder God's Wrath, the damage is insane. And Nothing to Say isn't, at least at this moment.
Yeah. The silence duration of the blast off is also just insane. 6 seconds on it, Nothing to Say, no chance. No chance whatsoever.
Yeah, now level 4, now 7 seconds.
Running up the hill. Never mind, Persona Sentry.
Not sure what he really hopes to accomplish walking up that hill. It is not worked out for Jinkyu at all.
Now, I don't know how a rock is bleeding, but it worked out for them. Now, you know, I had the pleasure of running into Puppey in the elevator today, and I was like, how come you guys are beast moding so hard, right? And he was like, we were supposed to be beast moding in the DPC already. So we're finally doing what we were supposed to do. I was like, okay.
Finally got the gears coming together.
Yeah. They look so different, though, from the DPC season. I already said, like, I addressed the draft many times already. It's just so much more aggressive. It has always good combo potential. Like, whatever Heen took, you know, after the DPC, whatever sort of food he's eating, definitely working out for them. I would advise stay on that diet, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, we have access to the same food right now, so...
Maybe we should ask him what he's eating.
I think my MMR is already going up.
Oh, by the way, Tekis has shot now, so every blast off is going to be a stun into double proximity mine.
Ame?
He's running.
For now.
Almost has his Relic, but usually we see Radiance at like minute 11. You know, he's so far behind the usual Radiance timing. And again, his skill build. Level 1 in the Greed.
Charges up a stun, and then that's it. He stunned himself.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, Secret is playing this very well. Like, they're not really falling for any traps.
Yeah, LGD, they're putting the snares out, but nobody's stepping into them.
Alright,
good tower design. A little cheeky one. You know, 50 gold for the entire team, not bad. Not game winning, but at least it's something. You really gotta make sure your Alchemist
I guess
some sort of impact. He's into his Relic now, so Radiance isn't far off. But yeah, again, it's just really late.
Now he starts to do some damage.
Not yet. Not yet.
Some. I mean, some. 60, you know?
Right,
extra
cool.
Sacred Relic. A little bit. Secret coming over, they're smoked up. They've got 2 heroes looking to potentially make this jump, but just the 2 of them is, well, you and I, and, well, for those 2, not enough.
Not nearly enough. There's also an Arcane rune on Zeus, so the next team fight is going to be even harder. If they even want a team fight to begin with, because I don't know how they start a team fight. They're looking for Ahmed, they see him under the ward. Blast off stun,
yep.
And you're dead.
Silence, Bloodright, Solar Guardian all there, and it's just an easy kill on Ame every time they've spotted him so far. Why looking like he might be the next victim, along with those familiars, and the Thunder God's Wrath certainly does it. LGD are looking to make space, but, well, Secret are erasing their map.
Yeah. It is very one-sided affair so far.
Really
also something we've just seen, the Bloodseeker buff on the Zeus. Dealing, how much increase is it? 30%? 30% spell amp increase on the Zeus is ridiculous. Oh, nothing to say, get Starbreaker as well. Star broken.
Yeah, Star broken, Star breakered. Either way, nothing to say. He's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, and he's the only one that actually had a good game for his team. So him being quiet is going to be a very big problem.
Avalanche out. Not sure what they really want out of this one.
Where's the damage, though?
The familiars are starting to right-click. They've got the blast off. There's the mine on top of Jinkyu. They get the kill to the Tiny. They'll look over at Faith Beyond. He's still on the run. They don't have a way to stop the TP. And Chrysalis was maybe thinking about going into a Rupture if they did. The Goodwinter's Curse from Y, but all are healed.
Why?
This is fine.
Oh no, LGD can't get anything going for them. Very nice. Like, Puppy is just like, yeah, we don't really want to give you any kill at all, so I'm just going to double heal my support.
This was very reminiscent, like you said, of that Tundra series where they were like, oh, we're going to get this kill, right?
Yeah, and Puppy says, nope.
Hand of God. Oh, okay.
Mech.
Okay.
And yeah, now they have the Radiance, so finally maybe he'll be starting to farm.
Why?
Oh, why are you there?
Why are you there?
Goodbye.
Where is my team?
Ame's running in too?
Ame, why are you running in? Thunder God's Wrath. Avalanche kind of saves him. Jinkyu looking like he's going to lose his life for this one. Soul Assumption, at least getting the techies. Celestial Hammer, stun lands. That came through from Ame. Soul Assumption once again. They've got the Blood right down as well as the Rupture. That'll come through in a Faith Beyond. They have him silenced and dead to right. They'll chase for more. Nothing to say with the Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains. Make sure that him and Ame can survive. And it's a 13K net worth lead for Secret. And, I mean, this train just doesn't stop.
Yeah, at least they finally killed the Menace, which is the techies, but really at what cost? You lost 3 heroes.
He's 5, 4, and 17. Like, he's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I died.
You remember when Sinkyu said it's going to be 1 out of 10? So like a 10% chance to ever pick the hero?
Believe his rankings anymore.
Techies is a very legit hero. I'm very happy that he's showing off how strong he can be. I'm actually not very happy because it means we're going to be seeing him more in pub games.
Don't put that bad juju on us.
It is such a strong hero. Like, a post 4 being able to solo kill almost any hero on the map is ridiculous. Look at the Alchemist if he sees him.
Nope. Sees him. And now goes for it. And the blast off is just instant, and they'll look to get this kill onto Ame. They don't have it just yet. They've got the Winter's Curse. They'll finish off Zinkyu. It's Resolution who gets that kill. And, well, at Secret, they're in. They want Faith Beyond. They've got the Rupture and Chrysalis. I don't think he's too scared to stand here in between the Tier 2 and the Tier 3. And the Cold Embrace just sets up Faith Beyond to be hit by these mines. However, Chrysalis, well, while he's chasing, he's just diving, gets the kill on Y, looks at Faith Beyond. There's a double kill. Ame low, charging up a stun, but he can't get it away.
Yeah.
4 heroes dead on the side of LGD. Secret are just, can I say it again? They're dominating.
Yeah, Ame also stunned himself because Zeus happened to jump. He jumped away, slowed him. Of course, 50% cast time increase as well, so he couldn't get the stun out in time. And yeah, like, every hope is really kind of dwindling because, again, Ame chose to go for a full aggression build. They just cannot be aggressive. Like, they cannot teamfight anymore. And they can't really find pickoffs either because they don't have the heroes to find pickoffs. They were supposed to be superior in those engagements, but they're really not. Look how rich Resolution now is again as well. Has already his BKB. Oh, there's Zeus ulti for the Ember. They know he has no TP.
He'll Remnant back, and if they saw that, they're going to sit on it.
Uh-oh. Where is he?
So, Celestial Hammer searching for nothing to say. Did they catch a glimpse of him? And they might with the Courier. Oh,
Resolution.
Courier.
have to say, kill the courier.
Spotted.
They see him?
So Celestial Hammer still off to the left. Nothing to say. Will Sleight of Fist this creep wave and take it out. Okay, he's got some gold for his troubles. Let's see if he survives. Remnant's back, and it's right into the techies. I mean, they were waiting there.
They were all waiting there. They tipped him instantly as he activated his
Oh, yeah. It's like when in Tom and Jerry, Tom is waiting for Jerry outside his little door with the hammer, except this time he lands the slam.
Yeah. It's not very child-friendly, this one.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Really not at all.
So let's look for glimpses of hope here for LGD, right? There's
Right, Ami's
almost
got a
a
Radiance.
Radiance. Not a Radiance, sorry. There's almost a BKB done on Alchemist.
Okay. And
maybe we'll be able to do something with that. I mean, it's not an impressive BKB game, to be honest, because you're going to get ruptured and right-clicked to death. But there's something, you know?
I guess so.
It's just with this lineup, you're really not supposed to be behind. Like, Tiny likes to play from ahead. Same with Visage. It's a rough game. If you're an LGD fan, which we both are.
True. But I'm also a big fan of this game that Secret has put on so far and what they've done in this event as a whole.
Yeah, how is it? Like, I don't even know how they're just stomping all these teams. Like, you know, the community was like, oh, Tundra's not looking so good. But LGD, they destroyed Team Spirit, and now they're getting destroyed by Team Secret. So, what does it tell you about Team Secret? They're obviously really good.
Well, if LGD beat Spirit, and if Secret beat LGD, technically Secret won TI-10. We made it. We got there.
Right.
All you Secret fans are finally happy.
The prize money will be
shifted soon.
Oh,
Nimbus, why? Oh no.
He let
just wanted a
too,
TP.
You know? He didn't Nimbus straight away. It was like half a second left, and then he's like, okay, now I Nimbus. I love it when people do that. Like, they take the last bit of hope that you had. You know, like, oh, I might be fine here. I might finally have outplayed them. Nope.
Watching the TP just get to that 1 second left. Nimbus. Sorry, dude.
Now, almost BKB done on the Ember. BKB almost done on the Alchemist. Then they're going to smoke and try to look for a fight. If they can't win that fight, we might just see a GG out.
Potentially, it could come sooner, especially when Ame just dies. But that's been the story of Ame this game, and he's just died.
Yeah.
He's 0-8-3.
Mm-hmm. Why is 0-11-3? That dual lane in total, it's a lot of deaths. Like, Techies and Dawnbreaker worked out wonderfully. Secret seems to be doing that a lot, right? Last picking Syed as hero.
Yeah. What was it, the Earth Spirit they picked for him in one game? Last pick?
Last pick or not. Oh, Ember Spirit's just getting killed, but so... Well, it could have been a solo Techies, but Zeus said, I'm here too.
I've got a Nimbus.
I got you, brother.
I'm padding my assist stats.
Yeah.
There goes your bottom tier 2, by the way.
Oh, just, by the way, Techies is level 16, which is higher than the Alchemist.
He's higher. He has more experience than nothing to say.
Yeah. It is a big problem.
It just shows where we're at in this game, and it's not a good spot to be in if we were the side of LGD. As a safe lane Alchemist, you're supposed to be an item or two ahead of these heroes.
He's trying again.
Ame.
He's dead.
And he's gonna die. Okay. Walked up, he'll die, then there goes Y.
Yeah, I was wondering when they're gonna tip him.
Does this tilt them into the next game? It feels like now 40 to 9. Secret have like, what, 3 or 4 games already where they've got 40 kills?
40 plus kills, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, that is just slaughterfests.
Yeah, I think teams will really have to start respecting their aggressive playstyle. Like, they went sort of greedy on LGD, and it really didn't pay off at all.
Have to start respecting this sustain.
The Ember Spirit from downtown, literally playing basketball. He jumped from the stairs all the way up. Rupture also on Syncue.
Trying to survive. Soul Assumption, right clicks, Cold Embrace. Familiar stunning him up, but sets up for Zayats again. They get the kill in a while. They'll take out Jinkyu. There goes Faith Beyond. GG is called by LGD, and Secret with 44 kills on the board don't allow LGD to get to double digits, and they take that game 1. That was a massacre.
Destroyed once more. I don't know what what to do against Secret, honestly, when they play like this. Like, the draft wasn't even bad of Secret of LGD.
Right.
But they just gave him a couple of small openings. Sure, the safe lane went terribly wrong for them, which is probably something they'll have to review or talk about Xiaoba. But, yeah, I mean, Secret just take every single tiny weakness that you show, and they exploit it.
Yeah. They were exploiting that. They played that multiple prong attack system that they had going in the games that we saw previously, where it's like, oh, you're worried about top, but we're also killing Ame at the same time. Like, Faith Beyond was dying at the same time as Ame. It was really ridiculous what they were able to accomplish all over the map, and it was just constantly, just multiple heroes getting taken out of these fights. And I mean, if you're going to watch these highlights as an LGD fan, you might as well skip it because there are none. It's all secret highlights that are going to be showing up here, and it is really quite disgusting.
Yeah, I think you're going to start by getting rid of the global mobility they have, and the global, like, they love their Dawnbreaker, they love their Zeus, they just love being able to reinforce without really having to be there.
Right.
So I think that's what you take away first, because they look so comfortable doing it.
Yeah, you cannot give them this kind of lineup that sustains, that does all this. It's really too much. It's overwhelming. Secret have all the tools necessary to beat anybody, it seems like, in this tournament. They made fools of LGD. And, well, to break it down further, we've got the analysts brought to you by Avo, because he's there and hosting them and keeping them all together. So we'll throw it back to you guys.
Thank you for that. We're currently watching these Aramco highlights, so very nicely showing us the shellacking that we just witnessed.
Yeah, I mean, just a highlight reel for Secret here, honestly. I mean, completely unstoppable from the get-go. Bottom lane was a bit of a slugfest early on, and we were kind of talking about this Wyvern skill build, and then very quickly that became a moot point with how incredibly online all three of Secret's lane were from the get-go. I mean, it was terrifying stuff.
It was super impressive. They really, I mean, they did the same that they did yesterday and against a much stronger team, and they dismantled them completely. So, I mean, not much to say besides the fact that, yeah, Secret is looking really strong, and maybe LGD did not give them enough respect, because, you know, from the get-go you could feel like the game was getting out of hand. Like minute 5, it already felt like an uphill battle, and there is no way it should feel like that early.
Yeah.
Now we see the scoreboard, of course, brought to you by STC. And here we can see the stellar pick, Techies here from Zayat. What a pick. It's ironic because he actually beat one of the other few Techies players in the pro scene. Synq is one of the other guys that did spam the hero.
Yeah, I mean, like, real recognize real in this one. I'd like to recognize at least Ame's skill builds, you know, or item build, that is, attempting to solve this issue, right? We spoke a lot about the minus armor during the draft panel. We were discussing a lot as well watching the game, but going for that unorthodox, to be honest, first item medallion, right? Just playing to the strengths of his lineup, trying to get the minus armor in hopes of trying to fight it, because it needed to be around the Ember Spirit. The Ember had the only good lane, really, at all this game for LGD.
No, it's a good point. Like they were trying to scratching their heads on like how can we possibly come back into this game? Like what tools do we have? And I mean they had really very little room to work with, unfortunately. And I mean they did try. There was this fight around, you know, in the Radiant jungle around their outpost where they kind of tried to come back and then they got team wiped. But I think it was a fair try. It was if there was going to be one way for them to kind of try to even out the game, then it would have been that moment.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it just kind of felt impossible. Normally, it's like, well, you have the Wyvern against a right clicker, but the way that Crystallis is, I mean, he's completely in his comfort zone. He knows exactly when he can dive, when he can just ignore the Wyvern, go around the fight, get a triple kill casually. Like, there was no problems with his spacing, and Secret in their comfort zone and looking comfortable in game 1 over LGD.
I feel like LGD, they maybe got surprised by the style of Secret, which is also very lane heavy. I mean, once again, you have like a Chen, very strong laner, Techies, very strong laner, Bloodseeker, Dawnbreaker. These are incredible laners, probably some of the strongest in the game in general. And LGD, to kind of match against that, they went for the Visage, quite greedy. The Tiny 4 is also quite greedy. And then on the other side, the Wyvern and the Alk, also very greedy lanes, and they just got demolished in the laning phase, and I think they never really got to play because of that.
Yeah, it felt like once they opened up with it was first blood even for the Visage, not bad, right? And then very quickly the floodgates opened for Secret. It was just like a kill down bottom, even just like a good blast off from Zayat enables Crystallis top lane where they get a little bit aggressive. All the while, like mid lane is sparring. Zeus gets level 6, he's assisting and kills down bottom. Crystallis is popping off more top lane. It was just like cascading disaster for LGD from the laning training stage.
It was.
That Visage, I think it's a good point, because you mentioned how they probably felt comfortable with it, with the idea of banning the monk kicking anyway, the most common lane counter, but Bloodseeker seemed fine against them. And that's the other Crystallisk hero, and the laning stage was okay, but then afterwards the Rupture destroyed the Visage. There was no chance for him to come back into the game at all. I mean, I think when we were watching this game, you said he felt like a support, and Seb's like, no, worse than a support. He's doing nothing.
It looked really scary. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've seen Faith Beyond have such a bad game. Like, he had zero impact. He got bullied from minute 0 to the end of the game, and sure, he desperately bought a pipe against Zeus. I mean, it's nice and all, but at that point, the damage is done. It's too much.
Here's the MVP for this game. We give it, of course, to Zayed's techies. I think it's fair to say. Maybe you thought someone played a little bit better, but he was the most enjoyable one for sure. Watching those blast-offs from long range, Ember got caught in so many of those.
I actually didn't even catch the fact that he went for an Aether, which is not a crazy item on techies. Octarine Core, it builds into it. Mana regen, sure, why not, right? But we were talking about how, you know, the way he was catching Ember top, like, it should not happen to Ember Spirit. You know, he's not that kind of hero. You got the Remnant back. It's nothing to say Ember, you know, he gets the Remnant, but he's coming off screen from just super fast from Fog. There's like no way to avoid it.
It's really hard to avoid it. I actually think you can't. I would really look at this as being a counter to Spirit Heroes. It's just really hard to play Spirit Heroes against techies. I mean, the silence is insanely long, the duration, and then it keeps getting harder with the shard, and the burst damage also. I mean, so many things about it. Makes it really hard to play, and I mean, I'm just honestly I'm baffled at the Zayak and Rezo lane.
Yeah.
Yesterday we saw them destroy the Tundra safe lane, notoriously known for being, you know, very comfortable in their safe lanes, killer and snaking. Today it was LGD, you know. I mean, Ame and Y also very known for being, I mean, great laners, great players. They just come in the lane. They're like the new duo kind of in town, and they just destroyed safe lane after safe lane. It looks super scary.
Can I just say, like, this techies kind of strat, if we can call it, I think something that's actually really beautiful about it, and kind of a stroke of genius from Puppy here, is it's such low commitment. You know, if the blast off misses, you don't Zeus ult it, you don't Dawnbreaker in, you don't put these heroes in a position to be punished. You don't want to be giving these tier 1 teams opportunities to get kills or to get a way back into the game. You know, this super low commitment. I mean, techies dies, oh well, right? Zayat has a laugh. He says, I'll hit the next one, guys, don't worry. I thought that was also really cool. Didn't have to put the Zeus in such a vulnerable position to go for these low risk but high payout kills.
Now, I'm curious about this duel, because I was thinking back, is like, what was the last time that we saw a duo of players market themselves, not privately to other players, but publicly as a duo? I actually can't remember. And it's working out so well for them, and like, clearly that tweet was for a reason, right? They knew they had practiced this. Do you think they like pumped together? That was the plan? Like, how did they even get this to work?
I'm not sure. I just remember watching them back then when they were playing. Back then they were playing a lot of like Batrider, Earth Spirit together, Darkseer lanes, and they seemed so comfortable. It seemed so easy when you watch them, and here also it seems really easy. They're so on page, like they're on the same page.
Yeah, it's like one person's playing the hero.
It's crazy. They just go in at the same time. Like, it just feels really smooth when you watch them play together. It's really nice to see.
DOTA is a team game after all. I think we see that coordination really come to play. But we do have one more team game to play. It's going to be Secret vs. LGD. Game 2 is going to be starting out soon. But before that, we're going to take a small break and come back with that second game of the series. So please stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.
مع التحديث الجديد لستي سي بلاي تجربة جديدة للكل. لو جوك دايم تحديات نافس وانضم للبطولات، استكشف الشات والتايم لاين وتسوق من متجر التطبيق. الليدر بورد على تفاعلك بالتطبيق، والجوائز الأسبوعية والشهرية على نظام النقاط تنتظرك. ستي سي بلاي، مهما كان جوك هذا محلك.
think it's safe to say we got an explosive game 1, and now we're going to see if game 2 can live up to that hype. LGD, we talked about what happened in game 1, but what can they do differently in game 2 to make sure it doesn't happen again? Assuming Secret goes for the lanes again.
Many things. many things.
Okay.
That's a good news.
That's good news, right?
I mean, if I told you there's nothing they can do, they're running into a second stump. No, probably many things. Obviously, like games can look like that when lanes go so poorly.
Yep.
We've all played these Dota games where like everything is just on fire, everything is crumbling. You just have nothing to fight back with, right? Then it looks like Secret is like a million times better than LGD. They're probably not. They showed that they look much better. But I'm pretty sure LGD, they just kind of have to adapt a little bit to what Secret is ready to throw at them, which is very, very, very intense laning presence. You have to take it into account.
Look at Rez. I mean,
Man,
how many times do you see Rezo? I mean, any player really even acknowledge the camera. Usually they're in the zone, but I mean, he's just feeling really good after that.
He's feeling
game.
it.
Yeah.
Actually, when we did the first stage interview, and we usually go to the teams like, who wants to do the interview? It's usually the same thing. It's like, people avoid your gaze, The Rezo stands up, raises his hands, like, I'll do it. I'll do it. He was super hyped.
It's lovely, and I think it's contagious when you see somebody smiling, happy to be here, enjoying the games. You just get the same kind of joy just watching him, right? And you can only root for him. I mean, he's also like a land beast. Like, he's been known for being so comfortable, and he shows up in the big games. And, now this is a LAN, and he's showing up big time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we spoke about it in our pregame panel as well, right? Having these players on your team that not only can make the plays, right, but also elevate your team, whether that's through the smaller things, even just being comfortable in front of the camera, taking the hit, so to speak, on sort of having to do the interviews.
Right.
Not really a pro player's favorite thing to do, but if you always know Rezo's got your back, win or lose, like that's got to be quite comforting.
And it means you have the headspace for that too, right? It means like the rest is kind of in check. You're in control of your own gameplay. Because if you're stuck in your head having like confidence issues, feeling uncomfortable, then of course you don't want to. You're already struggling, but that just shows like a lot of control over the situation. He's here, he's ready, he's feeling good enough to also kind of. Allowed to be snapped out of that and be like giving a good interview, looking at the camera, now focusing back on the game.
Yeah.
It shows a lot of control.
Yeah, and of course, like you were hinting at, Secret definitely outclassing LGD in that game 1 with that specific draft. I'm sure the director has got some notes, right? He's going to rewrite the script here, and very excited here for draft number 2, which is starting momentarily.
Hey, you're the American, so tell me what the remake looks like here of this game.
Oh, the remake? So they recast the main actor after the sequel, right? It has to have a car chase scene every single movie, right? So who's the car chase? I mean, maybe they get the Bloodseeker now,
That's
right?
a good one. They
get the Bugatti and he goes zooming. I mean, we talked about how Crystallis, you want to ban the Monkey King, maybe pick the Visage. Maybe that's a bit of a trap. I'm sure he's had to deal with that actually quite a few times, right? But
you're right though, because usually they also take the French part out of the scene. The more experimental part, they just take it out.
They take it out.
With by Visage.
Yep.
Yeah.
They play the hits, right?
Exactly.
Maybe you play the hits here for the game, right? But something I think we're going to end up seeing is maybe LGD a little bit more for the lanes, right? That Wyvern Alchemist lane, not the best, not the worst, but definitely easily abused there by the Dawnbreaker techies.
For sure. I mean, they have to. There's no way. Like, you can't fall behind. So, I mean, Visage was level 4, Bloodseeker was like on close to level 7. There's such a stomp, and then same for the Alchemist that died 3 or 4 times, Wyvern 2. I mean, at some point, Black was mentioning that, the safe lane, he was like, that's a lot of death, and it was indeed a lot of death from them. They lost control of their jungle, which is probably the worst thing that can happen to an Alchemist that early. Yeah, I mean, it was like all the pressure onto nothing to say to try to salvage the game, but we've seen, between the Zeus, like reducing, the lowering his cast animation, plus the techie silences, it was just too much for him to handle. So yeah, definitely LGD, they have to adapt, and that's like this is a big difference, right, between LANs and DPC, because DPC, you have like a week to prepare for one team in particular, so you have time to kind of study them, understand that they're heavy on lanes. Some teams are heavy on team fights. We've seen OG right before, and they were picking the Phoenixes and, maybe less laning presence, but you have to be ready for all these teams that are going to have really different styles, and that's like the challenge of LAN, is like how quickly can you understand what they're going to put on the table for you, and can you adapt to it and stuff. So LGD, they're experienced in these big tournaments, so I'm pretty sure that they had a break now to think about what just happened. They're going to come up Yeah,
they got some words of wisdom, and now we're going to see the Battle Lines Part 2, right?
Yes.
This is always my favorite part, seeing how you adjust from draft to draft, and there it is,
Dawnbreaker
right? The
already,
Dawnbreaker band
you see.
being the only different secret, quite comfortable with their opening, but
Yeah.
sometimes that's all you need, right? Just take out the one hero, and it's the mental reset.
And I mean, if there's one thing that really adds to the lane presence, then it has to be a Dawnbreaker, right? So we've seen what he does, like so much damage. And not only does he win his own lane, but then he gets the ulti early, and he prevents you from playing away from him. Because, you know, obviously you cannot touch Dawnbreaker anymore. You're going to think about, you know, ganking the Bloodseeker on the other side of the map, but then you just get Dawnbreaker ultied. So he just locks the map. You know, he kind of forces you to just look at him, which is the worst feeling ever. So I really like that they decide to ban this Dawnbreaker. Very good ban in my opinion.
But Secret still highly valued as Zeus, so they see that as a really high value pick. As still a flex, right? Last time we saw it obviously as a mid, but could have been a 4 perfectly.
Yeah, and both of these teams actually highly value the Zeus. I think over in for LGD, when I was looking at their like how much they contested heroes as far as like their pick ban rate, it was like Zeus was like 80% or something, right? Either picked or abandoned the series with them. Very much like this Tiny that they are going to pick up. So it is maybe back to the hits, right? The Warlock, something that the Chinese region was playing all throughout this last summer tour, and was picked actually even in the first game of the day, where it looked pretty unstoppable. So excited to see that here for LGD.
Yeah, Warlock Tiny, good combo. I feel like usually what Tiny lacks is like teamfight presence. He's really good at these skirmishes, finding pickoffs, starting fights, but he lacks like the damage, the follow-up, and Warlock really brings that for him.
Right.
So I like the support duo, if that's going to be the support duo. Yet again, it could be a Tiny 1, Tiny mid, Tiny 3. Probably one of the best heroes for LGD, one of the most flexible for them, as we mentioned. And the Chen, you know, going up in priority. I mean, you play versus this Puppy Chen once, and, you know, you're going to be super tempted to, like, ban it second phase. And I like, this is what Puppy is really good at also, is kind of understanding how you're going to adapt. What are your ways to adapt to what he just threw at you? And he probably, yeah, I mean, it's a good guess. I'm pretty sure this Chen would have been banned in the second phase. And this is like, this has to come as a surprise for LGD. Like, damn, you know, we had a plan of like getting rid of the Chen later, and now it's just already here. So we just have to deal with it now.
Yeah, and it's a bit of burst healing to counteract the burst damage of the Tiny, just like generally speaking about the heroes that we see. So that's always going to be pretty useful, right, as well at stopping the early initiations, if this is not like a Tiny core with Echo Saber follow-up.
Let me add to that, right? Warlock usually goes great with this area damage, right? But that means usually less burst because you're about trying to do as much damage to many people as possible. Hand of God, probably the best thing against that, right?
Yeah, I mean, even more so, right? Because usually, you know, for example, you don't really want to do a shallow grave on a bristleback when your entire team is bonds. Everyone's going to die on the bristle. But with the Hand of God, everyone gets that burst heal and then that heal over time, which did double. That was really, really huge for the Chen, who was kind of unpicked for a couple of years. So all that regen does actually allow you to fight through like an early fatal bonds. We saw how big of a difference that made earlier today for LGD.
I like the Kunkka ban a lot from Secret. I think this is a really clutch ban. I'm convinced LGD was looking at it. First of all, a hero, you know, nothing to say, is really comfortable with. But more importantly, it's a hero that shuts down the Zeus mid very well. We've seen it yesterday. One of the few heroes that also doesn't mind fighting into Chen, you know, at any stage of the game. Mech, no mech, creeps, no creeps, doesn't matter. Ghost Ship is just too potent, especially in the early game. You know, this Kunkka Warlock would have been so massive. So really clutch bans from Secrets.
Okay.
Early bristle pick.
Yeah. They did ban the Viper to protect it, right? The Bloodseeker also gone.
And the Void 2. Void really good against Bristle. Also just for the time dilation, preventing him from casting his spells. Very annoying. Bristle doesn't want to really buy the spell that early in the game. He wants to go for the, you know, typical Vanguard into Ags. So yeah, very well protected Bristle pick. It's interesting that they decide to pick it now, because they could have picked it, you know, like as a close-up pick for the second phase, and they decide to just show it early. Means a lot on how confident they are at playing it. Maybe it's flexible too. It could be an explanation.
It could be, right? But I mean, the thing that's scary for me, and you're implying, is Secret now have 2 picks to address it.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, sure, you take out the Viper, but I wouldn't say, you know, a Zayat's Hoodwink sounds not too bad for me right now, especially because you can still pick the laning partner with the Hoodwink for the break, right? If you really desperately want to nerf the Bristle right now and address it, that could be the solution. Or something like the DP.
Yeah, DP, very good hero. Super good if the Tiny is going to be core. Very good against Bristle. And that's kind of what I was wondering. Like, why do you show the Bristle that early? Why do you allow them to have like 3 picks to counter it instead of, you know, only 1, technically, if it was going to be picked last? But that means that they probably have a plan. I would only expect them to have a good plan for that. And yeah, once again, it could be maybe a Faith Beyond hero. And now Ame is going to be, you know, a DP Punisher. Like, you kind of get baited into into counters that you can deal with later down the draft. So, I mean, we'll see what LGD does based on that. But yet again, you see this grouping up kind of lineup from Secret. I feel how they can speed the tempo.
The Doom too.
Doom, okay. This could very well be a Zayak Doom. He's very known for his Doom position 4, very comfortable on it. And DDP Doom sounds like a pretty good combo to play together. Yeah.
Percentage-based damage as well, obviously, against the Bristles. So they've committed to this Bristle, but not over-committed, perhaps, right? They didn't go for the more the archetypical counters.
I also, looking at Secret's lineup right now, they contest Roche really well. They can still push objectives. DP's no longer like completely Omega bunkers and like his, the values don't do what they say. She finally does what she does on the box, or she does what it says on the box with that regard, but it's still a respectable amount of Roche and objective taking here for them.
I'm looking at Lycan for LGD. I mean, the problem is that Bristle is super countered by DP and Doom, so maybe you feel bad putting it on +1, but I just feel like it's such a good Lycan game, like against the Doom, the DP, the Chen, the Zeus, like these heroes don't deal with Lycan whatsoever, and I know that LGD is very comfortable with the Lycan. Faith Beyond, obviously, they're very known, they were playing it a lot at TI, so I feel like it could be a really strong pick for them. I just wonder if, once again, maybe that's not respecting the laning phase enough, because it's going to get countered, you might run into some Chrysalis Monkey, these kind of things, but they need to switch their win condition. It's not going to be the Bristle, not against Doom DP. It's not happening.
Right. So Lycan would be a good idea. Maybe we could get a mid-win condition here for nothing to say as well. Anything here that works that you can see?
What could he be looking at? I mean, they have limited amount of lockdown once again.
Yeah, right. So I kind of want to go to the Spirits, but yet again, you have Zayas on this hero where if he can close the gap and get the spell off, it's, completely removes the hero from the fight and basically the game.
I mean, it kind of feels like he's going to have to Doom the Bristle most likely, so you could get away with a Spirit still, I would say. Nothing to say. He might need to look at this. Okay, they go for Enigma.
That's the win condition.
Okay, very interesting. So we're looking at potentially a tiny +4 and an Enigma for Faith Beyond. I mean, once again, they have very little lockdown, and once Enigma gets BKB, unless he gets doomed, which should be kind of hard with the Bristle kind of running in. You're going to have to put some attention on the Bristle. Then this is a win condition. So far, it looks like a win condition for LGD.
Okay. Now the bans from LGD, do you get rid of the Monkey King here, just to make sure?
I think you have to. I mean,
he's good against Enigma too.
I think players are kind of mixed on that.
Really?
Yeah, as an Enigma player myself, I don't mind laning against Monkey King, but I know that Monkey King carries also like laning against Enigma. I think there's like a debate, right? So I'm not really sure. I don't know what Chrysalis would think about it. He's a very experienced Monkey player. I would be really curious to see, and if he would pick it or not, or if it's going to be banned. It's going to give us the answer. But definitely a pretty good Monkey King game, I would say, right? Like they have very little lockdown. If you get on top of the Enigma, then it's kind of a free monkey.
No, I would expect to see it banned, right? I mean, they need the Chrysalis hero, not a whole lot of flex with what Secret is presenting at this stage of the draft. So I think that's probably what we'll end up seeing here.
He also brings an extra stun that they kind of lack, honestly, on Secret side. Like they have a lot of damage with the DP and the Zeus. They need lockdown.
And some pretty decent initiation.
Immediate.
I mean, they were just waiting. Yeah, the Coddle taken out in the meantime would have given you even more sustain, some early push, right? Which is always goes very nicely with already the pretty high amounts of heals you can get on a Warlock with the Shard.
I mean, the Coddle ban is really interesting. It's really important, I feel, because they have so little. Just imagine this Coddle Boots of Travels kind of, full speed running around. Like, what hero is going to deal with him? Nobody. Zeus, Chen, like none of these heroes can actually lock him down. So, very interesting ban. I think teams are really on point right now with the bans and how they're covering angles and the weaknesses of their drafts. So we're looking at what? We're looking at a carry for Secret, most likely, and what should be a mid hero on LGD side, but it's still a little bit more open on LGD. They go with the Pango yet again. Very little lockdown. I wonder what Nothing to Say is going to be looking at. I mean, no Void Spirit, no Ember. I kind of, there's one hero I really want to see him play is Tinker, but I know it's not meta.
Oh, man.
He's famous for his Tinker. He is so good at the hero.
Yeah. The Tinker versus Zeus historically. Well, I guess
probably
now
bad,
with the overwhelming Blink build, maybe it seems better.
It's just like, it's just me fanboying over his Tinker.
No, I agree.
They did nerf that, remember. That used to be quite strong, and then they changed it to be more based off of your strength rather than the Blink itself.
True.
So it would be really cool to see, I agree, and plenty of long-range distance, right? Secret right now. now they do kind of struggle to get these fights started, right? So I could see, and even with the lockdown, so I could really see that as being potentially a pretty powerful pick when you've got a Bristle to frontline and the threat of a black hole counter initiation. Yeah, I'd feel pretty safe behind that as a Tinker.
It's a decent Invoker game also for him. Like I know Invoker players really like the matchup against DP, a lot of damage against the Chen, obviously too. Good against Doom, just kill him through, like physical damage.
You got a lot of people that can use the spells, Alacrity, Cataclysm into Black Hole is always a game ender, right?
You do have the hero of the patch Puck still available, by the way.
Right.
Oh, you know what?
And dooming a Puck is near impossible, so...
Okay, that is a scary pick in a way. I think PA into Enigma can be quite scary, obviously. Especially on the lane. I think you're definitely not one of the weakest laners, I would say, against Enigma. So that shows a lot of confidence. I think when you look at the PA in this game, he's mainly looking at the PA shard and the break mechanism against Bristle, which is really deadly for Bristle. So this really gives them... I think Secret's going to feel super comfortable scaling into this game right now.
For sure. Against the Templar Assassin. I also like the PA to just quickly jump the backlines, delete this support Tiny at this stage, right? Delete this Warlock before he can get that Golem off, and ideally try and just take the fight with your overwhelming damage with Zeus to follow up. Yeah, I could see it. Also a bit of a Crystallis hero. It's not as renowned.
An older one,
Yeah, it's not as renowned. He might not be Grandmaster level 30 like he is on the Monkey, like he is on the Bloodseeker, but I'd still definitely see him pop off quite a bit on that guy.
Two very solid drafts.
Yeah, okay. So no preference here. We're going to get a second game. I mean, there's no special techies pick. We're going to have to see what happens in this game 2 of the series. LGD really looking to bring it back. Are you sad that we didn't get to see the Tinker? Or are you happy with the TA? That's also another classic SCA hero.
Yeah, and another thing to say too. I'm pretty happy with the drafts. I feel like they're both really, really good, well-rounded, and pretty even. So I think we're in for a pretty good game.
Okay, all right. Well, let's hope there's no shellacking as we're casting here a BB, and we have the caster's BB to cast it. So instead of Bristle Black, let's send it to Beak Up in Black.
Thank you very much, Avo. Yeah, we're looking at potentially a 2-0 for Secret, a 1-1 for LGD. We'll see what they get, but there is a Bristleback, which has been very popular in the Chinese region in terms of being on the carry position. I myself was hoping for the Tinker as well. Once Seb said it, I was cheering. I don't know if he heard me, but I really love Nothing to Say Tinker. We're not seeing it. We're getting his TA. That a little bit disappointing. Still starts with a T, Templar Assassin, but not Tinker. Same thing. I don't know if I would agree with that.
SEA special, though.
Yeah,
same-ish, kind of.
Okay,
it makes sense, especially after the PA pick, right? PA hates playing against TA because you're very burst reliant. Your crits don't really do anything to the TA, so it makes a lot of sense. Lanes very well to Zeus, but I'm a little worried for the Bristleback because now we actually see one of the hardest counters in the game, the Doombringer.
Okay.
Once you doom him with that axe, Bristleback is gone, you can't get Warpath stacks. And that's the only reason that hero is so strong, right? So once you remove that from the hero, well, I guess Doom does it to everyone, though.
So
he doesn't really have all that.
If you're trying to doom the Bristle,
yes.
Is there anybody here could be maybe your Lotus Orb carrier for LGD?
Yeah. I mean, you could build it on the Enigma.
But you want him maybe go Blink BKB. He feels a little safe in this game.
You could build it on the Tiny as well after the Blink Dagger. That's an option. So they definitely have ways of playing around it. But they do have like very strong heroes like against the TA already. I feel like Death Prophet in general is very, very strong against TA early on, especially once you have that Exorcism. It's a pretty free kill. And team fights also, you build into a fast armor, maybe even Halberd to counter the TA. It's not a free TA game by any means. And you know my opinion about TA middle. I just feel like if you don't have a playmaker middle that can really help the side lanes out at some point, you're just looking at Bristleback farming, TA farming,
Enigma farming,
and both Bristleback and TA want to farm ancient stacks. So who's going to get it? We'll see.
Well, that might end up being a little bit of the case what we saw in one of the earlier series, I believe yesterday, when you farm so much of the map that you're farming the enemy's ancients all the time. Farming both ancient camps, right?
Yeah. It's definitely possible with Bristol too, right? You get a fast Vanguard, and like maybe a Cloak. You just run to the enemy ancients, and they need to bring like 3-4 heroes to really contest you out of there. And if you don't, they're just farming ancients for free the entire time.
Right. Okay. I could see that. How do you feel about Bristle early, though? What do you think he's going to do in this lane?
He doesn't like playing against the DP too much, but it's a Warlock Bristol, and he shouldn't ever get harassed out of lane, really. But they also can't aggress too much on A resolution once more. So should be a pretty farm heavy lane for both sides. Then you get your Vanguard up, and then we'll try to play more aggressively.
Right, and that Warlock is your typical 5 position. Healing support that we have seen so much of in China. It feels like every single game had one. It's a point that I've reiterated multiple times already with the LGD and the RNG games we've seen thus far. It's been very popular, and for the right reasons. We see sometimes these heroes, these carries get even greedier than Ame got, buy no tangos, and just rely on their 5. Which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
he got tangos this time.
That was the go-to for the last patch, right? But then ever since they reduced that healing self effect, carries generally tend to be less greedy. Faith.BN getting aggressed on, or not. I don't know what they can do. Tornado's taking care of the Eidolon, so it's a lot of money for Crystallis.
And sometimes we've seen Eidolons and this Enigma be a pain where you're not getting the experience you want in this bottom lane. Like Enigma is just taking it away, denying a lot, making sure that you're struggling in this lane. Like, how do you beat it if you're Secret?
How do you beat Enigma lane? Really, the answer is always just you have to pull a lot. So we'll have to see if the Chen can secure his pull, can think to ruin it. That's really gonna what's decide the bot lane. Nisha is getting both water runes as well. But he's very topped up with nothing to say, so shouldn't be a problem.
He's got a full bottle to work with, so he should be okay to top up. And for right now, that lane is pretty even. We'll see if it stays that way. There hasn't been much aggression from either side just yet.
Yeah, but honestly, this game, there shouldn't be a whole lot of kills happening early on at all. Like, top lane can't really die or aggress too much, same with the mid lane. Bot lane also, like Enigma Tiny, don't have the greatest kill threat, especially on the TA. So this is going to be a very slow early game. And then once level 6 comes out from the Zeus, maybe we see a kill.
It's hard for me to believe you. Secret has like 40 plus kills in almost all of their games. I don't know if I could really believe that this is just not going to be a bloodbath the entire time. As Jinkyu toss an avalanche, then the TP away. That's going to be a TP all the way back to base as well. And Rezzo's got a lot of quills on him, as well as the fact that there was the Fatal Bonds connecting him over. He dropped really low, but of course has that wand, had a lot of charges. He ended up being fine.
Yeah, no viscous nasal goo, or vicious nasal goo as I like to call it.
Yeah, but it is very viscousy.
It is. Pretty gross. But yeah, no early level into that, so again, aggressing is just not really an option for them. Which is strange. I feel like in this tournament we haven't really seen early games where there isn't really any kill threat on anyone.
I think maybe if we saw like Jinkyu go mid and he has an avalanche toss on the Zeus, but even then, like it still just doesn't feel like these lanes are exactly going to have these kills.
Yeah, he went into an Orb of Corrosion though on the PA, so if they find a good Chen creep, there is potentially a kill threat on the Enigma, maybe even the Tiny. But yeah, they will have to be out of position for that.
Are you surprised Crystallis is keeping up in experience with Faith.BN?
They killed a lot of Eidolons. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised by that. Because also every time you stand in experience range of that conversion, you're still getting half the experience, right?
Right. So is that, like, does that come down to Faith.BN just giving up the Eidolons a little bit too much? Or is that more so Crystallis knows how to play this matchup? Or is it both?
Probably both. I mean, PA is also a pretty good Eidolon killer. Like, once you dagger an Eidolon, it's pretty much just dead. And yeah, maybe we can have like a check by minute 10 how much gold he actually got from those Eidolons. It would be a very nice stat to see.
Yeah, I think just a second ago it said 87 gold, so
far, yeah.
Not terrible.
So that's about like 4-ish, which isn't terrible, but it's definitely worth more than he's denying.
And there's another 22.
Yeah. Trying to aggress a little bit on the Bristleback again. Doom has about the best creep you could ever find. The Mana Burn creep, which also has the Mana Burn aura. So previously you would just burn all the mana and also run out of mana, but nah, let's give the creep also the Mana aura so you'd never run out of mana. It's also so nice for DP, because DP struggles with mana sometimes as well.
Things really quiet, and who does this benefit the most? Like, you want 6 eventually for the Doom to go after the Bristle, but Bristle with space and time, like, I mean, you're not countering just an ult like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about like super late game, Secret definitely got us in the back because they have a 4 Doom who's going to be scaling very well into the late game. So yeah, I would like LGD to...
Oh, Thunder God's Wrath. Yeah. And that helps them get that kill, get that first blood onto the Warlock. And with just farming at the moment, it is a 2k net worth lead for the side of Secret.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about it, right? Doom is a scaling 4 who already has more net worth than Enigma. Faith Beyond is getting shut down massively once more.
Very unlike him.
Yeah.
Back-to-back games, too. Avalanche comes out, but the Heavenly Jump is further. They lay a trap down, snap it on Zats, and he's going to try and survive. There are 3 heroes here. And toss up. Another trap popped, and Nothing to Say gets a kill on the Doom. He's got that double damage, so that ends up working out well for him. But up in the top lane, well, now Ame needs to run, as it's just been tough to deal with this Death Prophet and the Spirit Siphons.
Yeah, I already spoke about DP being a good hero against Bristleback, right? Throughout the game also. So yeah, like this Bristleback's game is not going to be as easy as we've seen in the past.
I think we talked about it last game where it felt like that was, hey, let's enable Nothing to Say. Kind of feels like they're doing that a little bit more here with Jinkyu over mid, looking for another Avalanche Toss combo.
Yeah, potentially. They're gonna get on top of the Zeus in those team fights though. And they don't have the greatest jumpers, to be honest, to do that. They have a tiny, yeah. But once a team fight starts, generally a Zeus will just press ult, and then all your blinks are obviously disabled. And you don't have like a natural blinker that could get on top of him. I guess TA could, but Heavenly Jump against just a TA is free. I get out of jail for a free card. You know, so.
Did you get that on
before BKB.
Chance or Community Chest? Like get out of jail free card?
Community Chest. Always.
Always.
Always. There's so many better cards. I always get the rubbish one.
Pay $50 for every hotel you own. Okay, cool.
I like the M4.
My game's over. Spirit Siphon again. They're chasing after Ame. They've got Zats here level 5 with that level 3 Scorched Earth still on cooldown, but he does have the level 1 Inferno Blade. Not enough damage to get the kill onto the Bristle just yet, and off this Vanguard, well, we'll see how quickly he can then get into the boots and the nags and potentially start running down these heroes on the side of Secret.
Yeah, I think it's going to be important that they, when they hit their timings on the TA as well as Bristol, really push the tempo. Because, like, again, late game, Bristleback against Doom with Axe is very difficult to play. You always want to be in the front line, obviously, but if you are, you're just going to die. You're going to get doomed. They're going to run you down. Not a whole lot you can do about it.
Seeing PA take more Eidolons, get some more gold. Meanwhile, Nothing to Say he's in the jungle going after what I believe was a 3 or 4 stack of Ancients. Top lane, Ame in some trouble. The Exorcism popped off. And they're going to try and chase. They've actually got him in a good spot in between the tier 1 and the tier 2. But here comes the Zeus, Thunder God's Wrath, the end of the Ghost, as well as Nisha will get the kill on Ame. That works out in the favor of Secret. The rotation's just not nearly enough for LGD.
I wonder what's up with the tipping. They've been tipping him like hard both games.
Maybe they know he's big tilt.
Maybe they played some pops today or yesterday.
Starting the drama.
No, guys, probably nothing is up. We just like to gaslight some people sometimes.
So Nothing to Say with the highest amount of last hits at 9 minutes on any hero this event. 102.
Yeah.
And now they've got the Doom up top. That's onto the Warlock. Sorry, why? You're very dead.
Deadlock.
Yeah, deadlock. No war, just death. And this has just been Secret's a whole series so far. Just kills. And LGD wondering, hey, where do I farm? That being said, like you saw, that stat showing that Nothing to Say is doing much better than the last game in terms of farming. We'll see if he continues it. Avalanche toss, but this is a Death Prophet. Also has the help of the Chen ulti. So how do you really kill this hero? And I guess, at least for the moment right now, you don't.
Yeah, the answer is you don't, especially if you don't have the goo on Bristleback. Chen might be in trouble, though.
Oh, Faith Beyond. Let's see if he drops down the black hole. Okay.
Nothing.
I mean, they're not going to pass the event horizon that way, but now the Fatal Bonds comes out, and it's a Stifling Dagger to get the kill out onto Faith Beyond. Chrysalis doing the carries amount to get that kill. 1 Q.
He threw a couple of daggers and right clicks previously. Don't do our carry players like that. I know you're a support player. Give me the lane. Why are you so greedy? No, that was good. That was good, Crystallis. Keep it up.
All right. Well, at least he's not going and feeding another lane like we talked about.
The classic, dude.
Yeah, the classic. My lane went bad. I'll go top, try to gank, but my team doesn't gank, and then I die 2 times in P.
That's indeed the classic.
That's all like one word, by the way.
Yeah, always is.
Top lane, Rizzo. Go for the tier 1 tower, and free to do it so far. Like, this is just going to be a tower to open up more of the map. We've seen what Secret can do when they control the map. They start erasing parts of the other side.
Yeah, but finally they will be able to claim that bot tower, open up the map a little bit more for the Enigma and the TA. But again, I'm just a little bit worried that Bristol, he's not having a terrible game by any means. But where is he going to farm? Because TA wants to farm his space, basically.
Yeah.
And he will have to find another space on the map. Or Nothing to Say will have to. Either way, one of them will have to expose themselves to danger.
Do you think maybe the timing comes, it's like, okay, Nothing to Say, you got your Deso. Now it's time for me to farm. You fight, you kill, you jump, and I'll farm.
The problem is, even with the Deso, you're not really happy to fight because you have no BKB. You're playing against Zeus, you're playing against Doom. Even PA might potentially be a problem, you know. And Death Prophet just finished the Vessel, and we all know what Vessel does to our boy Bristleback. Especially early on like this. You're not going to have a BKB for like another 10 minutes at least.
Yeah, the question is now how quickly does he get into that axe?
Well, he's trying his best to get into it fast, but they're actually leaving the Ancient stack for him, which is a kind gesture. Oh, but again, that delays Nothing to Say's timings. He could have already had a Desolator if he kept farming those camps, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit counterintuitive always when you have 2 heroes that do the same.
Right now, he just has the gold for the Mithril Hammer. We'll see. Does he pick it up right now? What does he want to do? Holding on to a lot of that gold and finally buys it, and we'll get that shipped his way via one day. Or same day, really. But this game continues to stay pretty quiet for the most part. Yeah. Secret happy with where this is at, content with what they're getting. You've got Crystallis, who's getting close to the Battle Fury. And he's just been unchecked. Like, these heroes on Secret, they're allowed to have free reign.
Looking for
Doom. So Zats goes in, and he'll move forward, going after the Templar Assassin. And Nothing to Say, they'll get the Doom out. The Chaotic Offering comes in with the Fatal Bonds. But it's not exactly the bond LGD's looking for. Secret are bonded together in a unified group, playing as one.
I'm a little bit scared, because it feels like every time these rotations happen, they're very well done and not obvious at all, but LGD always looks surprised.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh my god, I got a TP here, drop the rock, it's already too late.
On top of which, Secret's done a really good job of recognizing who the most important kill on the map is, right?
Yeah.
Like in the last game, they knew it was Nothing to Say. They focused him, got a couple kills, shut down his game, and now here, it's him again, and where his net worth is really rolling. And they'll check out the TA once more.
Yeah, his Desolator is unfortunately delayed by having to share the easy farm with a Bristleback. Usually when you play TA like this in the mid lane, with a hero like that, you want to get like a Blink Dagger and try to get into the action early on. But they're looking for a Roshan timing, which he's 900 gold away from a Desolator. It's going to be very important that they get their first Roshan.
Rezo just TPing in pretty confidently. Fatal Bonds tossed over to the rest of the team. They've got the silence out of the Bristleback. So, well, there's the black hole immediately stopped. That's unfortunate. The Hand of God already used. Now some damage on Anisha, but the Crystallis PA is in. Looking over at Ame. He's on the run. He's showing you his namesake, his bristled back. So, well, the side of Secret will jump away. They got the kill on the Faith Beyond. 1 kill's enough.
Yep, and while all that was happening, Battle Fury is almost complete on the PA. Lots of A's.
Yeah.
Today's game. That could be a nice kill on the Doom, though. He has Frost Armor, so he's surprisingly tanky. And he just runs away.
Every draft from Secret just feels like every hero is tanky. Every hero has survivability. I want to say Chen's got to be on the on the list here coming up soon of who to ban.
I mean, they're first picking it every game. It would definitely warrant a ban. But again, we spoke about it in the past, right? Where banning a support first phase feels so bad. Like you play against RNG and you ban at Nyx Assassin, you're like, that feels terrible. And if you don't, then he picks it.
Who are they getting instead if you end up banning that Chen, right? Like, I guess they get access to the Dawnbreaker.
Dawnbreaker. I mean, he also likes to play Eng. We haven't really seen what he likes to play when there is no Chen. Like, a lot of teams just give him the Chen, and he's very happy to play it and pick it, and to great success. Like, most of the time he doesn't die at all. He gets a fast mech, and you have the Hand of God and mech teamfight combination. Mech.
There's that Deso, by the way.
Yeah.
But nothing to say. He's going to get jumped again. In just the second they go to the Doom, they'll look to get this kill out onto the TA. And it's...
Oh, no. They cannot give away the first Roshan, but I think they might just have to. Like, this first Roshan was all they were playing for with this Bristol TA lineup. They put Deso first to go for that fast Rosh. And now Secret's going to get that. So PA is going to be set up for success. If they give it to him, I believe they will.
We'll see.
And yeah, this is already splitting trouble again. For
Can the Eidolon steal this kill?
No chance.
Would have been pretty nice, though.
Now, Bristol at least is very close to his axe.
And it looks like he might grab himself a tier 2 tower. I say that, but look at the damage coming in from Nisha.
Yeah.
With that Axe being almost finished for the Bristleback, there is also a Battle Fury for Crystallis finished just now.
We didn't really speak about it before, but Nisha's item build is really anti-physical. Like, he went second item Ghost Scepter on Zeus, which is very uncommon, but it makes a lot of sense, right? All this damage is physical from Bristol, from a TA, but you're still going to be in a lot of trouble if you get tossed back in.
So Ame again looking to try and take this tower. Ooh, jump from Jinkyu, and all of a sudden, well, they have found themselves Puppey, but
insane micro.
It's just, yeah, it's the Wild Wing that saves them, and then they've also got the kill on both supports on the side of LGD. They'll look over Faith Beyond, the Spirit Vessel's on him. Resolution wants to chase. He might be a little too far at this point, but I think they're just baiting them in a little bit. Almost feels likely that they still want to put the Spirit Vessel back onto the Bristleback and go. Zats here, they've got themselves the Infernal Blade. Here comes Crystallis. And there's really no option for a Black Hole if everybody's here, right? Like, the sustain is still in from Puppey. Is it worth going for it?
Well, your Bristleback also, so you're just running at 500 MS pretty much permanently. He's looking for a pipe, obviously playing against Zeus. So he's not really looking for any big black holes at all. He went Vlad's into pipe. That's a very team-oriented item build on the Enigma. Which I wonder how much those early black holes played into that. Because you can really get into your own head, right? Like the first one whiffed, the second one cancelled instantly. And Secret is doing a very good job at not giving him any.
So, yeah, not having many black hole options, and I just want to go back to that point where you said the Wild Wing, the micro. It was pretty ridiculous. Using that Hurricane ability, pushed himself out of the way.
Yeah, that Wild
really
Wing
impressive.
is really, really strong. Like, all of these Eng and Dominator heroes and whatnot, if they pick it up in the right game, it can just save lives.
There are some people who just know how to use that Hurricane movement so well.
Yeah, it's vector targeted, like the Tusk kick.
Radiant's bottom tower.
So whoever's a good Chen player is also going to be a good Tusk player. Here.
Dire's top tower.
No.
Blink Dagger for nothing to say.
We haven't really talked too much about Crystallis, but he's had pretty much a free game, free from the entire game. And he's looking for his own Desolator to amp his damage output and looking for a smoke gank, huh?
Who can they find?
Well, Puppey unsmoked one of them, but nothing so far.
Is under attack.
Ame spotted. They might even just go to the jump there. They'll look over at Y instead. They've got the Doom. It's on the Warlock. Maybe leaving Ame to be free here. They've got the Black Hole. It's on to 2. They'll look over at Crystallis, and they'll take the Aegis out of his hands. They've got the help from Nisha with the Thunder God's Wrath and the buyback coming in for the Warlock. Warlock trying to get back into the fight and maybe throw a Chaotic Offering at an ample time. But let's see what LGD still have in the tank. It's not Bristles in their back, that's for sure. Resolution chases down Ame. And it's 11-2. For a second, it looked good for LGD, and Secret swiped that away. Man, that is a good counterplay there. Did cost the buyback of the Doom, and they did get the buyback out from Y. Still, though, happy to take that trade and get Ame.
Yeah, but we spoke about that the later the game goes, the better it's probably going to be for Secret. So you win the first fight, or you win this fight on the back of an Aegis, which...
Ooh, Nisha the damage, and there he goes. There's a big kill for LGD. They're starting to find some semblance of damage here, and Sayats, you bought back just a moment ago. You got to be careful about how far you're willing to go. The Chaotic Offering is down with the Fatal Bonds onto 3 of these heroes. It's onto the army of puppies, but now they go after Nothing to Say. He's trying to TP, but they get the kill there too, and Rezo's on a mega kill streak. So even with the Chaotic Offering, even with the Fatal Bonds, they just don't have it. After they got that kill on Nisha, that's all they had in the tank.
Yeah, and that now gives Resolution his BKB. Honestly, it's kind of crazy how good of a tournament Resolution has had so far. I don't know his KDA, but it is ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't died a single time again. A perfect game from him. Even when greedy with Travels instead of BKB first, got away with that. And he is just looking to scale into this mid-late game enormously. Go to the Shivas next in the Shard. So far, he's been a real carry. Like, Crystalis has been somewhat quiet. He's done a good job, of course, but definitely getting overshadowed right now by Resolution and Nisha's performances.
Yeah, but they have all looked good. Could certainly start to think about putting them as your favorite to win it all. That's for sure, with the way they've played.
I mean, a lot of people thought LGD was going to be that, right? And they're handing it to them 2 games in a row. Granted, this game is way, way, way better than game 1. They need their BKBs. Bristol's pretty close to his. But TA still over 2k gold away from it. They can't fight without them. Now the entire map control is going to go to Secret.
So need to find a way to open it up if LGD can. They've tried maybe fighting, but that hasn't worked out. They only have 3 kills thus far. And again, it's Secret who really do just control the majority of the map. Thunder God's Wrath trying to scout.
Yeah. I like that. I like the way they use Zeus. They've done it the last game too. Whenever they think there might be a tower defense, they just Zeus ult to make sure there isn't.
Right.
Or to catch any heroes they want to like delay it a little bit.
Tier 2 top.
Gone as well, yep.
There it goes. LGD can only see it go and say bye, bye, bye. And Secret just continue to put movements on the Dire side of the map. They smoke again. They might come across a couple of these heroes on the side of LGD if they're quick enough. They do have the drums, and they are going to make that jump. They've got the Doom, the right-click damage coming in from Crystalis. Down goes Nothing to Say. Another 50 seconds without this Templar Assassin farming. It's all while Bristleback does, in fact, make his BKB, but will that be a changing factor, or are they too far behind? And they want more. Puppy's coming over. Rezo's in. They just can't catch these heroes.
Sayats is looking for the Bristol potentially, but he's all by himself right now.
Stun.
They won't be able to reach him.
Scorched Earth in the Infernal Blade. Not enough control to help his team match up with him.
Now again, 8k lead. And it looks like as though they're running out of options once more. They need the TA BKB. It's just when your TA isn't at mid position and you have another hard farmer, it's very difficult for that hero to snowball, right? But you're so snowball reliant. At least Armor is feeling very strong right now. They're gonna make use of his strength, but now the Nimbus is also up. So those TP outs that we have seen, not gonna be nearly as easy. Sayats went into the Boots of Bearing, which are really good against Bristleback, and the TA traps, of course, because you can't get slowed for 1.5 seconds. So it makes a lot of sense. And then Axe, next item, because we spoke about that. Axe counter against the Bristol, of course. Do we have any Lotus Orbs coming? No, not even close.
Yeah, no Lotus Orbs, no way to reflect anything.
Oh, they see Puppy, he's TPing out straight away.
Puppy TPing away, and they don't get him.
Now this is when you know that game wants Secret to win. This like split second TP out, just before Avalanche.
Jumping over, Chaotic offering, they're going to lay down the golem, they look over Zayas, they'll pop the BKB on Ame, he'll chase over this Doom. Nisha on the high ground, Jin-Q taking a lot of damage, but he's still going. Heavenly jump away. They've lost 2 heroes already in Faith Beyond as well as Y. Ame without the BKB needs to rethink his coordinates as he's back and forth until Chrysalis, well, makes up his mind for him. You've been bashed, you're hit with an Nimbus, they've got the right click damage coming out of Chrysalis. It's not going to be enough. Exorcism out from Resolution, they get the kill into Jin-Q. They'll look over with the BKB being popped by Nothing to Say. And well, I'll try to TP out, but no, triple kill for Chrysalis. Secret again making very good trades, 4 for 1, and it just never looked like it was slipping away from them.
Yeah, and Roshan is just about to respawn in 3 seconds. If they know, they don't have any vision of it right now, they could be grabbing it straight away. But yeah, like the damage output right now is just overwhelming. You have all this physical damage output from the Ghost, from the PA, then you have Zeus dealing all the magic damage, and then you have Doom, who just basically presents himself on the front line and makes it easy for his team to play with the information he's gotten, right?
Right. And now they do see Roche, they'll go for it, Aegis and Shard.
Yeah.
Would love that Shard for Chrysalis.
Yeah, especially against the Bristleback, as we said, Break is your worst enemy as a Bristleback. Easy Roshan. I know people are probably seeing, oh my god, he's not building BKB on PA this game. I do that, I'm way better than him. No, actually, BKB this game is really not that useful at all. Ooh. Oh, that was a crit, but won't be able to get him.
He's got double damage. I want to say, yeah, he'll get the creeps. He maybe even thought about going, right?
Nah. You don't want to throw anything away. The Secret we have seen here is very conservative.
True.
Like, not conservative, but like they know when to get back. Because in the DPC, when Secret had a big lead, they were quite prone to throwing it away. So whatever they've done,
they found themselves this tiny.
Goodbye.
And Jin-Q's very dead.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I almost want to say it seems like the same story every single time. Doom, right clicks for Nothing to Say, but still not finding his voice.
Where are you running, my friend?
Nowhere. Thunder God's Wrath and Chrysalis now wicked sick.
Yeah. And that's the problem with the Bristleback hero. It's very strong, but if you can't use your timings and you sort of miss them, then a lot of hard characters is better than you. Like PA will always outscale the Bristleback, especially with the itemization he's going for. As I said, no BKB, he's going pure survivability and damage. They have Exorcism for the high ground in 5 seconds as well. No glyph on LGD's side. See if they want to hard commit or not. Really not much speaking against that right now. So they pop it straight away. And the tower should be made short work of.
How long are you willing to sit here if you're LGD against what Secret have their way? And it looks like the fight's going to break out. They've got the BKBs as well as the Chaotic offering. They'll go after Jin-Q. Chrysalis with the damage. It's actually Resolution who gets the kill with the BKB being popped by Ame. He'll go after the side of Secret, but, well, BKB and Magic Immunity no longer. They'll go after the Bristle. They'll fear him up with the Shard coming out from Resolution with that Spirit Siphon and no Bristle for 70+ seconds. All of a sudden, they're on your last leg if you're LGD, and that is without Jin-Q. They'll buy back on the Bristle, and now Secret, they start to back away, but it almost feels like they thought about going back in with the positioning of Zayats there, and then they were like, all right, let's get back, let's reset, we could do it again. But here come LGD trying to chase. Ame going in. There's the fan of knives. Well, Ame's certainly not a fan of knives, but now they go to the black hole. They've got the Nimbus down, stopping the black hole. Chrysalis on a godlike spree. Infernal Blade hits, and he will wipe the floor with LGD's bodies, and GG is called. A 2-0 for Secret over what was assumed to be the favorites of this event. But LGD, they don't show up here, and Secret continue to, well, give away the secret. It's that they're back.
That was a super one-sided game again. 4 kills is all LGD could muster up once more.
Yeah.
What can you say about Secret? It's an amazing draft, amazing execution. The synergy is great. Like, that offlane duo in particular, I feel like this is breaking every game. Zayat and Resolution. How do you stop them? Like, okay, you ban the heroes, but then they just pick other heroes and do the same thing anyway.
That must be that's like the biggest compliment you can give, right? We banned your heroes, you're still good. You're still dominant. You're still destroying everybody, including now the likes of LGD. They've made the list, and they've been crossed off it. Like, it is so impressive impressive what they are doing with this Secret lineup. And they're making me a big fan. I'm a big fan of Secret. It's really looking so good for them.
Even though it's LGD.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
So
against LGD, I'm not jumping ship. I would never do that.
Right.
But if I had to pick somebody from the European region, it might just be Secret right now.
Might just be Secret right now.
It might. Well,
So you're one of those like Reddit guys, like, oh my god, at the DPC you guys didn't do so well. They were like, I'm probably not your fan, but now they're doing really well. You're like, oh my god, I'm a fan of you guys.
Yeah,
I'm like that too. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm on there. I'm just like, Secret, come on, you guys are losing. What do you have, 1.5k MMR? This is crazy. I can't believe you're doing this. And it's just like, now they're showing up. They've got, 9, 10k MMR and kicking the butts of everybody. It's a shellacking. I'm from NA. I can use that word. It's a certified shellacking.
Yeah.
The process of putting, I think, a clear coating on top of wood is why we call it a shellacking. I don't really know, but I never said good lines come from North America, and right now good teams come from Europe, and it's just Secret that have been overwhelming these teams. Like, if you're watching this, if you have seen Secret run down the gauntlet, I just don't know what you really can do here. And now you've got to try and change the mindset going up against Secret. And, well, honestly, you want to think, what is the mindset from Secret? So we're going to find out. We're going to throw it over to the interview, and let's take a listen.
Puppy, first of all, Puppy, congratulations. All right, bud, talk to me here. 6-0 in the group stage already, coming into this with a stand-in, with a new addition recently to the squad. In fact, 2 recent new additions when you think about it. Did you expect to be doing this good so quickly?
I kind of feel like we should have actually done pretty well already in the DPC season that we just lost to Arlington Major. So it's not really that big of a surprise that our ideas work.
سألنا اللاعب عن روستر الفريق، نتكلم عن تغيير اللاعبين اللي موجودين عندهم، انه حتى بعد ما غيروا 2 من الروستر حقتهم الى الان ادائهم كان جدا جدا كويس في المباراة. فكان جواب اللاعب يتكلم على انه حتى يعني احنا متوقعين ان نأدي اداء كويس حتى مع التغييرات اللي صارنا، مع اننا تونا خسرنا بطولة الدي بي اس اللي كان المفروض ان نقدر نأدي فيها اداء كويس، الا انه امورنا مشت بشكل ممتاز.
And talk to me a little bit about that DPC comparison, right? You're going to miss out on Arlington, but you're here, $4 million prize pool. I know us Dota folks, we like to always dream about TI, but there's a lot of money on the line here. Does that kind of cauterize the wound? Does that soften the blow of missing out on the major?
I mean, if Saudi Arabia will have me for tournaments, I'll come here every time, man. Don't worry about it.
سألنا اللاعب عن شعوره على تواجده معنا في رياض ماسترز، انه البطوله والجائزه حقتها جدا كبيره، فهي مقارنه في التي اي والبطولات الكبيره. فكان جوابه انه اذا السعوديه بيستقبلوني في كل مره يصير فيها بطولات، انا راح اكون متواجد في كل مره.
And talk to me a little bit about the magic that Rezo and Zayats have going on. These guys, they seem like their own operation on the side. Was that all intended? Was there kind of this understanding that maybe they'd have a bit of carte blanche to do what they want? Or are you still very much commander-in-chief on this team over everything?
I mean, the good thing is that Resolution and Zayats wanted to play together. So Rezo was available to stand in for this tournament, and I wanted to see how good they can be together. It seems like they can be very good. It's kind of funny because they speak their own language on one lane. Me and Cristales, we speak in English, so there's no interruptions between anyone. We can both be talking at the same time, but we know who we're talking to.
سألنا اللاعب عن الكوميونيكيشن حقهم اللي يصير داخل الجيم، خصوصا مع اختلاف اللغات اللي موجوده بينهم، وزياده على انه ريزا وزايز كانوا موجودين معهم في المباراه هذه، وكيف بيكون الكيمستري بينهم. هل هو بابي نفسه هو اللي مسؤول عن الكوميونيكيشن او لا؟ وكان جوابه انه تركيزهم على انه حتى اذا احنا عندنا القدره ان نقدر نتواصل مع اكثر من اكثر من شخص في نفس الجيم، نقدر اننا نفهم بعض عن طريق اننا نعرف كل واحد يتواصل مع مين ومين يكلم مين وكيف يصير الكوميونيكيشن، مع انه في اكثر من لغه موجوده معهم في الروستر.
And finally, you're 6-0 so far, but you haven't faced every team. Have you slayed the giants that you were worried about, or is there someone that's maybe kind of a wild card that you've got your eye on at this tournament?
To be fair, I think every team in this tournament is pretty good, and choosing one to be better than the other is kind of hard. I would say that perhaps OG is still the hardest enemy to fight against. But it's hard to say, because we always believe Tundra was the better team, and then we also think that Team Spirit can always bring. So it's going to be in a circle. I'm not really sure.
السؤال كان متركز على الفرق المنافسة معهم في البطولة. هل في فريق هم متخوفين منه غير الفرق اللي هم هزموهم، ولا هم كل الفرق اللي خايفين منهم ممكن انهم هزموهم، لانهم الى الان ما خسروا ولا مباراة من بداية البطولة. لكن كان الجواب على انه كل الفرق قوية وصعب التوقع، لكن فريق OG ممكن هو الوحيد اللي نخاف منه، مع انه الكل كان يتكلم عن توندرا اي سبورتس انه هو الفريق الاصعب اللي ممكن انه صعب انك تهزمه، لكن برضه فريق OG هو اللي فريق ممكن متخوفين منه اكثر شيء اللي الى الان ما واجهوهم.
Well, if there's anyone that can figure out the puzzle of the other teams, I'm sure it's you, Puppy. Thank you for taking some time for us, and good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to be it from us here on the stage. Let's head back across the desk to dissect this amazing series.
يعطيكم العافية أعزائي المشاهدين والحضور. راح ناخذ الآن فاصل بسيط ونرجع لكم في
Puppy sure knows how to win over a crowd, man. It really did. Fantastic job by Secret this series. I think they're looking really strong. We talked about it, right? Tundra, impressive. D-Boosters, they're the dark horse. Then the underdog, maybe not as significant. But LGD, that is proving yourself.
Yeah, that's a statement for sure. You know, especially after how well LGD, take down Spirit. Sure, you could say Spirit coming from, third place in Eastern Europe, where they weren't looking really in their kind of land form. Regardless, still winning that series 2-0 on just the bear, and then getting kind of destroyed here by Secret.
Yeah, the way in which they won it also, that was probably the biggest part about it, right? Like they dismantled LGD 2 games in a row. I think they very much outdrafted them, they outplayed them, and I think we haven't seen LGD that confused and shocked. It felt like they were in shock when they were playing. Like they didn't really know what was happening to them. And I mean, as you said, really, it is a big statement, and it's the kind of statement that's gonna impact how the meta of the tournament is gonna develop, because now everybody must be paying like closer attention to Secret, because it's just not a normal thing to come in and just stomp LGD twice.
We get to watch the series highlights brought to you by Aramco. We get to re-witness the beginning or the second game a little bit more.
Yeah. Zayat's with like a pretty early solo kill as well, right? His impactful dooms. That's the thing I like about when you run Doom in like the not core role. I mean, here obviously on the Templar Assassin completely shutting down. Nothing to say, but especially even top lane, just using it onto kills onto Warlocks, right? Buying back, dooming the Warlock, like stuff like this, really stopping that BKB piercing ulti and truly making it a 4v5. There's a small number of heroes that can fight through a Doom, right? But supports, it's GG, man.
Yeah.
You get doomed, there's nothing you can do in the fight.
I mean, it's like such a big impact once again by the Zayak Rez duo. Not to take anything away from Nisha, he's playing amazing. Puppy obviously playing amazing. Crystallis, playing great too, flawless. But these two, like they're just destroying their lane, and then they have this massive impact over the mid game.